Got this.
Ah! Ah! What the fuck is good, man? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, baby? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How y'all living, man? Look, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. It's 80 fucking degrees in New York City, and I kind of am wishing. Maybe I wish this every day, but I'm kind of wishing I didn't have a job right now. Bro, it's 80 degrees in New York City, and I'm out here with a job. It's crazy. I'm wearing a t. I asked my handlers. I said, "Look, I know we did this makeover thing. Can I please wear a t-shirt, bro? It's 80 fucking degrees. Can I please wear a t-shirt?" And they're like, "Fine, thread guy, you can wear a t-shirt. Fine, thread guy, you can wear a t-shirt." So here we are. I left my door unlocked and my doorbell on in case Andrew Yang shows up. And if he shows up during stream, I gotta kick it with him. I gotta get off and kick it with him if he shows up during stream. I just do. So if you hear an alarm go off or you hear a doorbell, stream is just done. If he shows up. So that is what that is. Today's Mr. Schiff. No. Mr. Schiff is on Monday. Mr. Schiff is next Monday. Which is just brutal. I mean, it's brutal. But we got to do it. You know, Frank posted this thing, pace.trade. And the premise of pace.trade is you could post any trade idea or you could post a podcast. Say I had Const on a week ago and he talked about Tau. And it will show you the P&L of the trade idea proposed in the piece of media that you insert. And the best performing guest from any threadguy stream, and keep in mind, we have had on, how many guests have we had on in the history of my stream? I don't even know. Hundreds. The best performing trade idea is Peter Schiff. Short Bitcoin, long gold. The best trader, like the number one. And there's been some incredible performers, right? Because we had Mert, Zcash 200. We had Alon. You could have gone short pump, the Shmiko. We had Flood, Hyperliquid in 24. Damn, I'm old. Jeez. Flood was on in 2024. I'm old. We had, what are some legendary ones? Damn, do we just top everything? Zora, Jacob from Zora, ripped a 20x. What else? Racked, OSF, really early. Sheesh, this is slim pick. It's slim pickings out here. But the one nuance is that it creates the trade. So it was like short BTC on 20x leverage, long gold on like 30x, and you get this like ridiculous fucking P&L. But yeah, Peter Schiff is the best performing guest that's ever come on the stream. And he is coming back on next Monday. Also, I don't want to say his name because he hasn't booked it yet, but he told me yes twice. He told me yes, ghosted me, and then told me yes for real. Last night, Macro GCR is going to be on very soon. So get excited about that. Macro GCR is going to be on very, very, very soon. So I'm hyped about that as well. But I'll tell you who it is when it's time. All right, what's good? Roll call, baby. What's up? Art Mommy, Kevin, Stone, DNAP, Jack, Moncock, Maxi, Spicy Meatball, Viblet, Caleb, Shifty, Baby, Live the Life TV, Stone, Rectal, J-Lev, what's good? Apewood, what's good? No, better than PP Poo Poo. OCJ, what's good? Cow, what's good? Bloom, what's good? Small Pepe, what's good? Hidden, what's good? Baby, what's good? Rug, what's good? Chunky Nuts, Houdini Swap, Bloom, Wavy, I think I said. Tom Brady, Sax, what's good? Booty Watcher, happy, what was it? How old did you turn, Booty Watcher? Happy birthday, G. Rockefeller. Wow, you got Chumba. Poker, what's good? JP Bull, what's good? Ludic Spread, what's good? Jackson Ray, what's good? Molu, what's good? I think Booty Watcher's 42. My guy, the big 4-2, watching that booty. That's awesome, man. Welcome back to the fucking stream. All right, look, we have a lot. I'm gonna try to move slow today. We have a lot to talk about. Yesterday, we didn't really get to cover a lot of the stuff that I wanted to cover just because we were talking to a presidential candidate. I don't know, just like the guy, I don't know. Nothing crazy. Just like the guy who called AI like a decade before it took over the world. I don't know. Just the guy who was on Joe Rogan 7 years ago. I don't know. Just the guy that was talking about UBI 8 years ago. Presidential candidate. Just some guy from New York. Just, just casual. I saw this tweet and it says the 2028 presidential election runs through threadguy, and I could not agree with anything more. I just couldn't agree with anything more. So shout out Andrew Yang. Dude, I thought it was sick because for as doomer as a lot of his takes are, it is very hope core coded. It's very much like you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. K-shaped economy, but the beauty of the K-shaped economy is you can get to the top of the K. That's my whole goal, I think. And he kept saying it. He was like, "Yeah, motherfuckers in the pit, the threadguy community are probably gonna be fine." He kept saying it. It was pretty cool. So that was awesome. I'm trying to think. Did anything happen before we get into stream stuff? It's 80 degrees in New York City, which is awesome. Now threadguy tapped into TG tapped into the youth and finance online collective. It does run through here. Hell fucking yeah, it runs through here. So okay, we're gonna talk about a little bit of war because it's taken an interesting turn. Hopefully for the better. I'm not convinced, but maybe for the better. We are gonna talk about Pete Hegseth. We are going to talk about quantum thing, as everyone here is waiting for my quantum takes. I am going to tell you why I clicked on the Zcash along, which is like, wow, feels like old times. Feels like we're at the old fucking house. We are going to talk about Buffett. We are going to talk about tacos. We are going to talk about AI, Claude, source code is out. And we're going to talk about oil, I guess. I closed the oil thing. Honestly, can I be honest? I feel so good not being in an oil trade. I feel so just grateful to be alive again now that I'm no longer in an oil trade. The second I clicked close, it was almost like God himself flew down from the heavens and said, "This is how life is supposed to be lived. No exposure to oil." Seriously, I felt just this overwhelming wave of gratitude just strike over my body, and it was just so beautiful. It's one of these things, yeah, you live long enough holding oil and you see yourself become a Calvin. It's like geopolitics, threadguy era is so based. I know, but it's fucking, dude, I'm aging. You see it under my eyes. Do I look like I have crazy eye bags or no? Do I look like I have crazy eye bags? Also, every day now, somebody sends me this Instagram reel, and it's like SpongeBob. You look at least 30 is crazy. When oil tanker blows up straight of Hormuz. Let me see if I can find it. You know what I'm talking about, T-Nap? I get sent this every day. I can't find it, but it's like an Instagram reel, and it's like SpongeBob, like, yeah! And it's like when an oil tank, your boy who's long oil, when a tanker gets blown up in the Strait of Hormuz, and I'm like, dude, I gotta get out of this trade. I was like, I gotta get out of this trade. I gotta get out. I have got to get out. So, I'll tell you one observation I've had is I follow a lot of like fitness accounts on Instagram, and at least 2 of them today posted a poll on their IG story. These are like fitness accounts, and are like, y'all buying the dip or not? Be honest. Should I be buying the dip? And I'm like, fuck. I saw that, and then this girl, dude. This girl who I haven't talked to in like, I don't know. Last time this girl hit me up. Really cute, by the way. Really cute. The last time this girl hit me up was $200 Solana on Instagram, and was like, yo, like, what's good with Soul? Just hit me up and was like, yo, and I was like, oh shit, what's good? Instantly, what do you think about the market? I'm like, fuck my life. But interesting case study on. It was good when you opening stream. We're about to. I'm taking it slow today. I felt like so rushed yesterday. Yeah, this is the clip. I got sent this clip one too many times, and I was like, I gotta fucking sell this oil thing, bro. I'm like, all right. It's just one of these things that if you're a bear, I genuinely, I mean, look, serious comment is like at the end. I mean, Jesse Livermore kills himself at the end. That's how he dies. He kills himself at the end. And so if you're a bear for too long, it's impossible. It's easy for a bull to become a bear. It's very hard for a bear to become a bull because you convince yourself that everything is slop, garbage, trash, and then you can't snap out of it when it's time to snap out of it. You can't. It will drive you fucking insane. Basic CZ turned bull finally. I don't think Basic CZ is a bull right now, brother. But I think you just stop being a bear. You just go cash because you're like, fuck this shit. You want to know a crazy stat? Market close is about to happen. So I'm going to ramble for a little bit, then we'll go over market close. Crazy day today in the market is we had a plus. Let's see where we're at right now. Yeah. We had a plus 2% day. It's actually plus 3% in SPY before we had a minus 2% day. What? What does that even mean? How is that even possible? How is that even possible that happened? I mean, there has been like legitimate utter war has broken out, and we had a plus 2% green day before we had a minus 2% red day, which is just absolutely insane. Okay, I want to spend as much time. My goal every stream is to talk as long as possible without saying the word Pete Hegseth. So, Meme Scope Monday, man. How y'all doing? How are my little meme scope traders doing after yesterday? How are my little meme scopers doing right now? This is the best performer. By the way, remember yesterday I said, who the fuck is this green candle? Genuinely, who is this green candle? Like, who is doing this green candle? Who was this? I mean, Meme Scope Monday is a complete and utter just disgrace, of course. Dude, imagine like a bunch of traders in FinTwit were like, all right, we're running like SPY Sunday. And everyone is supposed to slam futures open. Like, what? You can't just declare a day a good day in the market. It just like doesn't work like that. Imagine SPY. Should we run that SPY Sunday? If our guy declares this next Sunday SPY Sunday, and I post like a 7-figure long futures long, that would be kind of lit. But what was the highest performer yesterday? What was there? Was there a Meme Scope Monday coin? What was the best coin? Joined in a what's good, Manic Moron? Monday was the best ticker. Let's see. The main reason I'm doing this is because I want to disgrace Pump Fun real quick. Oof. God. That is an ugly one. Orange whale. Oh my God. Stop. Oh, it's on BNB. Who just bid this? But I don't know. The reason I show this. Hold on, my phone's making. The reason I show this is because I wanted to show this. Actually, I wanted to show this first. Here. Alts are pretty fried right now. And we're going to talk about... Actually, first, yeah. Is everybody okay? The meme coin guys in here? By the way, if you're a meme coin guy and you finally decided enough's enough and you ended up with a threadguy stream, welcome. First and foremost, welcome. Here we trade serious stuff like commodities and backdated oil futures. Okay, so first of all, welcome. Hopefully I can help show you the light. Second of all, this chart is... You know, I'm looking at alts again for the first time in a while because I was buying Zcash. And I mean, I was like nibbling Zcash. Let me make it very clear. And I'm like, I wonder what Pump Fun is doing after yesterday. And I pull this thing up, and I mean, it's horrifying, completely horrifying, completely horrifying. And it's up, it's not even up today. It's up 1%. And it brought me to, I'm like, okay, I wonder what they're doing on fees. And so I look up what they're doing on fees, and it's basically the same. 850, 920, a mil, 1.1, a mil, couple down days, a mil, 1.2, 1.4. I mean, what was this? 1.5 on March 17th. What the fuck happened on March 17th? 1.2, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.2, 1.2, 1.2, 1, 1.1, 1.4. I mean, what is even happening here anymore? And so it then brings me to, I'm probably the last, the millionth person that has made this comparison. I'm just discovering threadguy. This guy focuses on meme coins. Oh my God, bro. Just wait 5 minutes. And I am brought to this chart here because I talk shit about it in the Twitch chat or in the Telegram, and I said this thing is so fucking ass. Because by the way, I did like a meme coin rant the other day. Everybody, meme coins are such a funny asset because everybody is so tribal about them and protective over their meme coins. And for some reason, everybody feels this primal desire to call the meme coin bottom, which is just has no RR, because everybody knows this, right? When meme coins actually come back, it's gonna be some new thing. Like, you could have traded meme coins all day for a year, and then Trump coin happens and you're good, right? And so everyone, for some reason, has this desire to declare the meme coin bottom, or say we're close to like a spiritual capitulation, the meme coin bottom. And look, I'm not here to be that guy. We have serious stuff to talk about. But if you were all in NFTs in 21, you remember what this was like on calling the NFT. I mean, Apewood's here. I know Apewood remembers what this was like, declaring the NFT bottom. It's like, it is very low IQ activity, I think. But I show you it to pull up this chart. Roll a bit. Let's see. Roll a bit. Here you go. I don't know if this is the best chart just to show it, but I mean, this is like the buyback coin that did it forever. Bought back millions a day, every single day. And we have just been shown over and over and over and over and over again that the buyback alone is not enough to save this. It's just not. So I don't know. I looked at Pump, and I honestly could not believe it. Also, thanks, Malcolm. I couldn't believe it when I looked at the Pump chart, really, like at how bad it was. I really couldn't. So anyways, that is where we're at on Meme Coin Monday. If you, I don't know, if you lost money, I'm sorry to hear it, but we have serious stuff to talk about right now, and let's get into it. Market close just happened. Before we get in there, I want to get a little rain check. Where's everybody at? Long, short, and what? What are your biggest positions right now? What do you have open? What are you in? What are you trading? Give it to me raw. Hit me. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? Long cock. Nice. Long gold, Zcash, hype, silver, big USDC, short Canton. Oh, interesting. Why? Short VVV. Why? Circle. Up huge on Kita. Nice trade, JLED. Why are you short Canton? I don't even really know what that is. WC qualifiers. I don't know what that is either. Long NASDAQ. Cash yield. Down huge on SPY short today. You might get bailed out. Long oil. Pull up VVV chart. I was waiting for you, Ryan. Time strategy. Zcash, hype, gold, FSLY. Is that the Julian Petrulis trade? Or that was Firefly. Is it different? Look up Canton. I'll give you my Zcash. He says it's pretty weak. There's no Tau Love. No, I sold that shit and I just forgot it existed. I don't even know what even is this. I don't even know what this is. Honestly, I don't know what this is. Long Hood. I saw one of my favorite traders, the Short Bear, open, started buying. He's long Hood. He's long Rocket Lab, and he's long something else. Inverse threadguy. That doesn't usually play out very well. If we're being completely objective, that doesn't usually play out very well. But all right, let's get into some serious stuff today. Long pipe. Let me see what his other trade was. What's Zach thesis? It's gonna take me a while to get to it. I'm gonna get to it like after quantum. What did he say he was long? Deleted. Okay. Coinbase was the other one. Yo, just joined late and missed intro. Can you redo? Yeah, sure. Okay. No, it's like not. Coinbase was the last one. This guy loves crypto. It's crazy. He loves crypto. Let's see. Coinbase looks terrible. Yeah, it looks awful. It's up it was up 8% today. All right. Interesting. So let's go over market close. It was a very interesting day today. Unique day today. Kind of a shocking day today. Also, I will say this. Crypto is goated. And last night, one underrated aspect of crypto is when Trump starts tacoing last night and he declares, which we're about to discuss, he would exit Iran without opening the Strait of Hormuz. The quickest, easiest way to get long is coins. If nothing else, the easiest, quickest way to get risk exposure is just ripping into a Bitcoin long. Now, it traded like absolute shit, and it couldn't break through any level, and it just retraced it, and it's just like kind of an utter embarrassment. But it is easy to get long. So I wanted to just call that out. But all right, here's how we close today. SPY plus 3%. Crazy. Plus 3%. We have not had a down 2% day this entire war. SPY plus 3%. Okay. Russell up 3.5. Q's up 3.5. IGV up 3.13. This looks horrid. Trump tells news on Iran. War's coming down. Did that just come out like seconds ago? Let me see if that just came out seconds ago. Are you lying? No. Okay, cool. I have that. Let's see where we're at. So IGV looks the worst out of them. Long charcoal. I don't know. I'm down to like spend some time near the end of the stream talking about trade ideas. One thing I want to learn how to do, by the way, my last segment for today that's like unplanned, is I want to learn how to trade the VIX. I really want to learn how to trade the VIX. I feel like is such a fun thing to trade. Does anyone here trade that? Volatility index, I feel like is such a fun trade. Cash and VIX shorts. It feels like a really fun trade. That thing moves. I want to learn how to trade it. This guy wasn't lying about the NBC thing. Trump tell 109, 2 minutes ago. Okay, Trump tells NBC News on Iran war it's coming to an end. Right after market close is very weird though. Okay, let's keep going. Now the Dow up 3% to a whopping 46K. It's crazy. VIX was down 18% today. Huge red candle, just off a cliff. Hype didn't do much. It's funny when everything else crypto is strong, hype is weak, and then inverse. Silver, huge day, plus 8%. Sol, dog shit. Dollar down 0.6. Zcash Monster Day up 13%. Monero not much. ETH looks decent. Can't lie. ETH does look pretty decent here. Looks better than Bitcoin. Gold up 4. Sick candle, and I would love to talk about gold a little bit. I don't really have the experience trading gold, but it feels like better than this shit. Feels fucking better than this shit. I'll tell you that. 10 years down, Tau terrible, and then stretch is over $100, which means this dashboard is relevant again, which means they have bought 3435 Bitcoin, which is 3435 times, what is it, 67? Huh? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, $230 million. Crazy. It's just insane. When this thing's over $100, it's, look at this. It's fucking insane how much Bitcoin they buy. And so, yes, it's not great that we are just like, Sisyphus had a really good tweet on this, actually. Somebody replied to it on Blocked. I can't read Sisyphus. I can't search him, but it's basically just like, you know, the take is like Sailor poisoned the well, because we should be celebrating Bitcoin right now as a pretty good hedge against what's happening and a good asset to trade, except we're all just like complaining about Michael Saylor. Individual names. So crypto, not bad. Decent day, but overall we look really weak on crypto. Energy all got hit, including oil. Defense up a lot. Word to Pete Hegseth. Fertilizer's down except for Braxum. What else we got? Nvidia up almost 6% today, and it looks terrible. Look at these charts. Horrible. Up 6% looks terrible. Where does the 11% from stretch come? Nobody knows. Cash that they raise, nobody knows. SanDisk Monster Day up 11. Apple up 3. Some big moves. Netflix looks good. Spicy Meatball, you long? Netflix looks good. Microsoft up 3. Looks horrible. Who bought this the other day? Was it Kramer? Oracle up 6 on the news that they fired a huge amount of their staff. Micron, little recovery, up 5. Meta looks terrible, up 7. Amazon up 3.5. Amazon looks decent. Tesla up 5, looks terrible. Google up 5, kind of looks terrible too. Look how this fucking played out. AMD up 3.5 and Intel up 8. And then last individual names we have that we care about. What do we care about? Hims up 10%. I'm taking the hair pills, by the way. How does my hair look? Looks thick, huh? How's my hair look? I think decent. Decent? Gorgeous? Thank you, bro. I got a little haircut too. Figma, who cares? Iran, who cares? Hood up 6.5. Anyone here a hold Hood? TG Meta's cooking. Yeah, the chart just looks bad. Basic seems he had a bear post about Hood the other day, which I hate that I take everything he said so seriously, but he said, I deleted it. Wait. Deleted it. But he basically was saying, like, Hood is a gambling app, like, declining revenue that, like, is no longer cool kind of thing. Like, fuck. Flood is a Hood bull. Basic seems he's a bear. Who y'all got? Who y'all rocking with? We'll look at Keita in a second. Anything else we care about? Not really. Circle, nice little day. And then that's basically it for Coinbase up 8. Nice. Last thing we'll look at is Keita. Ugh. God. I faded this thing so early. This is horrid. This is pretty disgusting, guys. I cannot lie. I don't need Hood when I have hype. You look at it both ways, right? I don't need hype when I have hood. I don't need hood when I have hype. But Kita looks terrible. Looks fucking horrific. And yeah, that's how we close today. That is how we close today. And so the reason we closed the way that we closed is the president, Donald J. Trump, is basically going Taco Supreme is where we're going right now. And so let's talk about what happened a little bit. I don't get Kita. Am I retarded? No. I actually don't think it's your fault if you don't get Kita. I think it's I don't really get Kita, but it is what it is. I mean, bro, crypto alts are just structurally kind of fried, but it is what it is for now. Also, real quick, if you are watching on Twitter and you would like to chat, or YouTube and you would like to chat, twitch.tv/threadguy. I kind of think it's slop too, by the way. Like, I don't know. DeFi banking, it's just like, I don't know. I kind of think it's... Oh, wait. Let's look at VVV real quick. Wow. Crypto people see this and like, I'm going to short it. I never got it. Why? Who in the chat shorting this and why? It's like there's one cryptocurrency. This is how I felt about Tau. It's like there's one cryptocurrency going up. Why would you short it? It doesn't make sense. I never understood that. It's like literally every single coin in crypto goes down only. Everything goes down only. So pick anything except the one that could go up. You know, like I never got it. I never got it. It's like everything just goes down only. Like you charts look like this and you want to short VVV. Look at this atrocity. It's horrifying. I never really understood it. SATA is a new preferred BTC stock made by Strive. We had the guy in the stream. I have my own takes on that, I guess. I mean, they're just like rapping Stretch. It's like a rapper upon. I don't know. I don't know enough about the Bitcoin yield preferred stuff, but it's just a rapper. I called it Stretch 2. I don't think he really liked that, but that was my honest read. I thought it was Stretch 2. That's what I thought it was. So, anyways, all right, here's what happened. Markets kind of ripped today. And the reason markets ripped today is that there seemingly has been a vibe shift in the Trump cabinet about how and when and how realistic it is for us to exit this war, okay? And my take after what happened on Friday, I think it was Friday, when there was a taco that completely reversed and ended up with oil higher than before he made the announcement, was that we are now stuck with two polar opposite ends. Either jugular or declare victory and get the fuck out. One of the two has to happen now because you're sort of running out of buying time. The market is screaming. Bond yields are screaming. It's like, do something now, was where we ended. And so, surprisingly, nothing really happened over the weekend. Surprisingly, nothing really happened yesterday other than actually some escalation, right? I think Brent got to 109 and I was long and felt like a genius. I think Brent got to 109 and then pretty much like clockwork, above 109 Brent, two announcements come out from Trump. Number one reads, by the way, I can't get over the Truth Social bit. It's like my favorite bit. He's like still posting on Truth Social and everyone just like posted on Twitter. It's kind of so ridiculous. But he comes out and posts this. All of those countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran. I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the US. We have plenty. And number two, build up some delayed courage, go to the Strait, and just take it. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil. President Donald J. Trump. And so that came out in the morning of today, I believe. And the post that came out last night is Trump tells his aides that he's willing to end the war without reopening Hormuz. Trump administration signals intent to end Iran military campaign despite closed Strait of Hormuz. I want to see if is there actually a post for this, or is it just a announcement? Let me see. I don't exactly remember. I don't think there's a post. Yeah, here. Yeah, I think it was from an interview. But he says Trump and his aides assessed that a mission to reopen Hormuz would push the conflict beyond his timeline 4 to 6 weeks. It's already been 4, almost 5. Trump believes the U.S. should achieve its main goals of destroying Iran's navy and missile stockpiles, which apparently has been done from week 1. We're in week 5. Trump thinks he can wind down the current hostilities while pressuring Iran diplomatically to resume the free flow of trade. If that fails, Washington would press allies in Europe and the Gulf to take the lead on reopening the strait, U.S. officials say. U.S. stock market futures are rising on the news. And so I closed what was left. It was actually a pretty big position. I closed what was left of oil on this when we started dumping. My initial reaction was, honestly, holy fuck, oil is going to go up forever. That was my initial reaction. It was like, oh, they're never going to open the Strait of Hormuz. This thing is going to go up forever. But the second order effect of this is like, okay, think about it like this. This is why I closed. I closed because the market was like, get the fuck out. So I said, okay, fine, I'll get the fuck out. It's higher now than where I closed, but it is what it is. It went down first, but then it's higher than what it is. But this like signals two things, okay? Number one is this felt like, it isn't like Trump admitting weakness, but it was the first time I feel like he showed some humility and some urgency publicly that we want to be done. Like, actually, not like we could be done, but we're not, or we should be done, but we won't. Like, actually, we want to be done. It felt like a very clear, there's also a Hexeth, or I think a Rubio comment I'll pull up in a minute, that felt like a very clear sort of we want to be done. And then the second thing is I watched this video today. It's actually a really good video. Maybe we could watch it on, we can actually watch this right now. It's a video from, I watched it this morning. Why the oil crisis is secretly good, from Casual Finance. It's like a 7-minute video. And the thing the video basically says is that the United States, like the last time this happened 20 years ago or whatever, the United States imported like 60% of their oil from like Iran and other places. In 2026, we are not energy dependent at all. Like the U.S. produces so much of their own oil. I think it's like sub 5% comes from the Strait of Hormuz. The United States actually doesn't need the Strait of Hormuz at all. But Asia does really bad. Like China needs it. Japan really needs it. Korea needs it. I think Europe needs it, but Asia really needs it. Baby, thanks for the gifted. Europe like really needs it. And so the Strait of Hormuz being closed for the United States is actually not that big of a deal. The only thing that happens is it gets more expensive because oil is globally priced, as we've been learning. And so the U.S. will have to pay more. And the people within the U.S. will have to pay more. And inflation will drift higher. And that leads to its own like fiscal problems. But it isn't a supply problem for the U.S. They actually have it. They just will have to pay more. But for everybody else, it is a supply problem. And kind of like a catastrophic one. And so basically what just happened if he Taco Supremes out of this and just declares victory, I think this is the best take. This is kind of like the Trump geopol equivalent of you borrow $1 billion from the bank and don't repay. It's the bank's problem. You invade Iran, they shut the Strait of Hormuz. It's the world's problem. So this is one, by the way, a flaw I've had in my 5 weeks of geopolitical analysis here is I think, at least in my head, I pointed pretty quick that Trump has no out because they can't get the Strait of Hormuz open without ground troops. Right? That was like my binary dependency here. He now realizes we can't get the Strait open without ground troops. And so what I decided was that the only way this war ends is if Trump sends 100,000 Americans into like a 5-year, decade-long war in Iran. The thing I didn't account for is that he can just say, no, actually, we're done. The war's over. The Strait stays closed. Because that was my thinking. I'm like, okay, he can't declare the war over without the Strait open. And he can't get the Strait open without getting it open by force because Iran doesn't care. What I didn't account for is that he could just declare the war over, get forced out because the market or rates or whatever. And then now it's the world's problem. And Iran like wants to fuck the US, but it's no longer Iran versus the US. If the US stops bombing and the Strait stays closed, it's Iran versus the entire world. And it's like, what are you going to do? And so I've read a lot of takes about this, which is like, okay, it feels pretty clear to me that the Strait of Hormuz will never be the way that it was before. And the reason this whole war is like ironic is what we're fighting for now is the opening of the Strait, which was open before the bombing. It was open before the war. Now it's closed, and we're just trying to get it open to get out, which is like so ridiculous. But they have this toll system, right? Which is that they are letting people through if you pay like a couple $1 million in like Chinese yuan, which is insane. I don't really know what the implications are of that on the petrodollar or things like this. Like what the effects are on the American empire is largely unclear to me. Apewood, thanks for the 10 gifted. Baby, thanks for the gifted. Shout out Apewood. I don't really know what impact that has on the petrodollar and these other things, but it's very clear the Strait is not going to just be this open passage. But I didn't really think to myself, Trump can just leave, say, too bad, everybody else, you guys deal with it. And then everybody else is going to like be like, Iran, fuck you, fix it. It's like they're like ruining the friend group, right? It's like it's kind of like this. Let me try to give an example. It's like, okay, it's like, okay, I'm gonna give a bad analogy, but I'm just gonna try to get one on the fly. It's like, okay, you have like this big friend group, 5 guys, 5 girls. You guys are super tight, and you start dating one of the girls in the friend group, and it's like she has a party house, you have a party house, and you guys have like a really bad breakup, and it's like mutual, and then eventually like you tell the girl like, truce, I'm done. I don't care anymore. We're cool. We can stop fighting. Let's like hang out, bring the group back. And she's like, no, fuck you. Like, we're still not using the house. And so because you've like waved the white flag, everyone, the other 8 kids in the friend group are like, bro, stop being a fucking pussy. Open the house. I'm trying to rip. Open the house. Like, it's Friday night. We're trying to party. Open your house. Like, stop being a fucking pussy. And then shit's like no longer 1-on-1. It's like 9-on-1. And you're like, all right, fuck. What am I supposed to do here? But you have to pay to get in. Fine, we'll pay to get in. Like, just stop being gay. And that is my horrific analogy of what just happened. Okay? This is legitimately better than Bloomberg. Thanks, Apewood. And so the comments coming out of Trump admin feel like they got the like, oh shit, we need to move quick and get this thing done. And then the guy tells everyone he's getting Andrew Yang on stream. Exactly. Then this one came out, which is Iran's president says Iran is ready to end the war with the U.S. but wants guarantees. U.S. stocks are surging on the news. Now, this was like a controversial one because it's like this headline wasn't just misleading but completely made up. It coincidentally happens the same during the last day of the quarter when everyone is busy window dressing their allocations, goosing their quarterly performance a little bit. This is the golden age of financial crime. It is quite unbelievable we got to a point where global financial markets can swing wildly by trillions in value based on a misleading headline purposely crafted by one of the popular news feeds accounts on X for the sole goal of engagement farming. Now, the other thing about this is like, who even is this? I don't know. Like, does he have authority? Does this guy have authority to speak on this stuff? This is the thing about the Twitter wars. Like, Trump killed the first 50 people in charge in Iran, and so, look, art of the deal, whatever you want to call it. But Trump basically killed everyone that has a platform that could speak with authority, and then now it's just his narrative permeates whatever he wants. So, was that 40 chess or a misclick? That misclick is crazy. Was that 40 chess or like an oversight that he turned into a positive? I don't really know, but that's where we're at. And so Balaji came out and made this post. I think it's a pretty good one. And when Balaji's bull posting America, that's how you know. Like, bro, when Balaji's bull posting America, that's how you know, like, something is decent. And I'm just going to say, like, this Balaji post I'm about to read is declaring. Wait, I have to read this text real quick. What did you just say? Cool. This Balaji bull post is like declaring Trump 5D chess. It's insane. But he says this could be the off. What's he quote tweeting? He's quote tweeting. Oh, I haven't read this actually. Real quick, one more ad. Is all of these countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the UK. Oh, I did read this. Cool. That's the UK post. So he reads, this could be the off-ramp the world needs. You can think of it as the best outcome for everyone under the circumstances. From MAGA's perspective, if Trump declares victory here and moves on, the U.S. won't waste yet more blood and treasure in the Middle East. It won't invade Iran. It also won't take all the blame for the ongoing global supply chain crisis. It just pulls out and lets everyone work out the regional security equation for themselves. Trump can say he's fulfilled both his campaign promises. Stop Iran from getting a nuke, check. But also no endless Middle Eastern wars, technically a check. From Israel's perspective, Iran has now shown to be quite hostile to its neighbors, and its military has been substantially degraded. Stopping now is good. Otherwise, there's danger of overreacting to October 7 as America's overreacted to September 11th. Israel can stand back and call it a win because after a U.S. pullout, Iran will have much less excuse for holding the strait hostage. 3. From Iran's current perspective, it's unfortunately clear that the current war isn't going to result in liberalization. Further attacks would push Iran further into fundamentalism, making it even harder to eventually do a liberal reformation. 4. From the long-suffering Iranian people's perspective, ending the war now would also save countless lives. Otherwise, they'll get hit by friendly fire and drafted by the regime to fight for fundamentalism. 5. Finally, from the world's perspective, once the U.S. declares victory and goes home, substantial diplomatic pressure will be applied to Iran to simply open the Strait of Hormuz and allow ships through. This is what I'm saying. They're stealing, reiterating. Iran's leadership has shown, perhaps surprisingly, that they care about global public opinion and that they would be on the hook for the suffering of billions of people if the strait remains blocked. TLDR. If Trump declares victory and leaves, Iran no longer has any excuse for blocking the strait and holding the global economy hostage. Let the matter be worked out diplomatically with pressure from all the 100+ affected countries on Iran. America shouldn't have to spend a single cent more or send a single soldier more to the Middle East. And so I kind of read this as like a bull post towards getting the fuck out in Iran. And we actually end up in a not that horrific spot as a direct result of it. And so, yeah, Google didn't break Bitcoin. We'll watch this Hegseth clip, and then I want to give a thicky take, and then I'm going to give you my overall market take, and maybe we'll watch that video because it's a really good one. Let's watch this real quick. I haven't watched this yet. We made it 54 minutes and 3 seconds without saying Pete Hegseth in a serious matter. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Headphones are off.
Secretary, I know you slightly addressed this already, but just on the Strait of Hormuz, is opening the strait an essential objective to Operation Epic Fury, or is that the job of those other countries? And then secondly, without asking you to comment on things that you can't talk about, what is your message to Americans who love the president and strongly believe in him, but are very worried about this notion of boots on the ground?
Well, first on the Strait of Hormuz, our core objectives from this podium, from day one, from me, from the chairman, from the president, from the vice president, from Secretary Rubio and others have been clear. Defense missile production and missile programs, so their entire missile program.
By the way, the reason you have to repeat yourself 15 fucking times is because it has not been clear.
Defense industrial base and production ability to build, and Navy and power projection. So those have, and then of course, wrapping it all is Iran's never going to have a nuclear weapon. So those have been very clear. Defeating the Navy is a core part of ensuring they can't project that kind of power.
But this is a vibe shift, right, on the Strait of Hormuz, which is like, no, we're not. Before it was very much, we are going to will it open. NATO's retarded. We don't need you. And now it is very much, this is NATO's problem. This is everybody else's problem. Figure it out. Like, that is a flip.
But ultimately, I think the president's truth this morning lays that out very well, that this Strait of Hormuz issue, which we've set the conditions for success, and we will make sure Iran knows that very clearly, is not just a United States of America problem set. We've been willing to lead. President Trump's led the entire time, but it's not just us. So ultimately, I think other countries should pay attention when the president speaks. He's proven that when he speaks, he means something. And he's pointing out, you might want to start learning how to fight for yourself. It's something some of us have been saying for quite some time.
Like, this is, before it was, you should learn how to fight for yourself, but we don't fucking need you. Like, that is not nuance to overlook. First time chatter, welcome. One of the goals of cutting some energy sources to China is to slow China progression in AI. That's why Venezuela and Hormuz, because, yeah, I mean, I've heard this take a lot. It's a lot of oil between Venezuela and Iran, for sure.
You can't just have flags. You have to have formations. You can't just have a few ships. You have enough to affect change. Those things matter in a dangerous world with ascendant adversaries. That's why the chairman's talking about our industrial base. That's why we're launching the Arsenal of Freedom tour to revive our defense industrial base. President Trump doing it in a way that nobody else has. As far as President Trump and boots on the ground, I don't understand why the base, which they have already, they understand, wouldn't have faith in his ability to execute on this. Look at his track record of pursuing peace through strength, America first outcomes. What he's simply saying, and it's exactly true, and I've said from this podium too, we're not going to foreclose any option. You can't fight and win a war if you tell your adversary what you are willing to do or what you are not willing to do, to include boots on the ground. Our adversary right now thinks there are 15 different ways we could come at them with boots on the ground. And guess what? There are. So if
that was tough. That was tough. That was tough. That was tough. I mean, objectively, that was tough, Pete. That was good. That was tough.
You are not willing to do, to include boots on the ground. Our adversary right now thinks there are 15 different ways we could come at them with boots on the ground. And guess what? There are.
That was tough. Objectively, that was smooth.
So if we needed to, we could execute those options on behalf of the President of the United States and this department. Or maybe we don't have to use them at all. Maybe negotiations work, or maybe there's a different approach. The point is to be unpredictable in that. Certainly not let anybody know what you're willing to do or not do. But if anybody has...
The one funny part about the United States military's unpredictability is the requirement for them to say we're being unpredictable, like, really frequently. So, all right, I'm going to read this real quick. Okay, so this is why the market's up, right? Where's Bitcoin right now? Has anything happened? No, of course not. Piece of shit. This is why the market is up right now. Also, oil, like, as we're speaking, is getting crushed. Like, at 5 minute looks crazy. This Brent. Look at this. I mean, what is this selling? What is it selling? It's not even trying. What is this? It's like systematic selling here. It's crazy. This is a crazy chart. So, Thicky makes a really good take that I think is an important... Damn, this is the Thicky dick and balls pattern, actually. They don't talk about this shit on Bloomberg. This is the dick and balls pattern. Somebody send us a Thicky. This is the dick and balls pattern, bro. Crazy. Thicky speaks to this often. Somebody send this to him. Screenshot here. Cool. It's a really sad pattern. It's like an inverse cup and handle. Just goes the wrong way. Call it the DMB. It's like the DMV, but it's the DMB, the dick and balls pattern. It's a really a rough one to see on a chart. I like this take, okay? Because we know this, again, a figurative war is being fought in the order books. Talk to Yang about it. And it reads, even if the headline is still a rumor, it at least suggests the admin is fully converging on the only real two paths left, withdrawal or economic catastrophe. Today's bid and risk feels like markets trying to signal that withdrawal is the only viable way forward. That's why people are so desperate to bid it. There is some irony in that. A market bounce, which is really just conditional optimism around de-escalation, can actually reduce the pressure on an admin that is obviously highly sensitive to daily market marks. That could make things worse if they fail to act quickly enough or fail to understand what price is actually signaling. If admin gets through the long weekend without making more decisions toward withdrawal, I would expect more of this move to reverse. I also think people are wrong to frame withdrawal as some massive humiliation that automatically hands the strait to Iran. If anything, this war is a reminder that it does not take much sophistication to disrupt the world's shipping lanes, and that in the era of modern warfare technology, diplomacy is often more effective than domination and violence. Hopefully, Americans can take the right lesson from this and stop trying to return to a nostalgic vision of power that is incompatible with present realities. They bounce on 100 like even. Yeah, it did. Look at that. Wow. Pee poo poo's in the books. It's a pretty cool take, which is he's basically saying like the reason the market is bouncing is because we've collectively agreed de-escalation is the only way out. Admin is signaling that, and it feels like we're headed in that direction, but it could be counterintuitive to convince Trump and co that they actually have more time because the market has confidence in their ability to finish objectives in the war. That's why the market's up. Like it's sort of this weird 1-2, if you will, between the two concepts. So man, I'm honestly like so fascinated by wartime markets. It's like the craziest thing I've ever followed is how this works. It's unreal. I could just talk about it all day because it's like it's just like so mesmerizing to me that it just trades on Twitter headlines. Like it's the game theory behind this is fucking wild. I want to play this one video about why the US is better positioned than I think we have discussed them. After we get done with that, I'm going to read you my final market thesis, and then we're going to move on to Hegseth insider trading, quantum, Zcash long, Buffett, AI, other stuff. But this is it's not for an 8-minute video. It's honestly fucking good, and it gave me a lot of ball knowledge. Let's watch it.
All the time.
I'll put it on
right
1.5.
now, the world thinks it's
I'm also going to watch it while I get up to fucking take a breath, but I'll leave the camera on, of course. And I'll conclude with like a market take on what I think, how I'm positioned and what I think is going to happen.
Right now, the world thinks it's watching an oil crisis unfold, and on the surface, it makes sense why. Because energy markets are all over the place, and governments across Europe and Asia are scrambling to hold emergency meetings, and all of the panic can be traced back to one place, the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow strip of water that provides the only sea passage from the Persian Gulf to the open ocean. And every single day, roughly 20% of the world's oil passes through it, which makes it the single most important choke point on the planet. And the general consensus is pretty clear. If something goes wrong here, the global economy is totally fucked. But maybe that's just the story we're being told, and maybe it's only half the story, because the truth is there's a lot more going on here. Because the real story isn't just about what's happening, it's about who it's happening to. Because oil shocks don't hit the world equally, and they never have. Because while some economies get crushed, others quietly benefit, and that's what this story is really about. It's not a story about a crisis, it's about positioning. Because most people still think this plays out like it did 20 years ago, where instability in the Middle East leads to an oil shock, which eventually hits the US economy, and for a long time, this was true. Because 20 years ago, the United States was heavily dependent on foreign oil. In fact, roughly 60% of the total petroleum consumption was from imports. So when the global supply got disrupted, the impact was immediate. Prices spiked, inflation surged, and the economy hit pause. It was a clear linear relationship. But that version of the world doesn't exist anymore, because over the past 2 decades, something changed. New drilling techniques unlocked massive shale reserves for the United States, and production boomed. And suddenly, the United States didn't just reduce its dependence on foreign oil, it flipped the entire script. Because if you fast forward to the present, the United States is the largest oil producer in the world, which means the old narrative, it's outdated. Because now, the United States isn't on the same side of the trade anymore. So now the question becomes, then who actually is exposed? And this is where you get to the real story. Because most of the oil moving through the Strait of Hormuz isn't going to the United States. In fact, only 2.5% of it is. The majority of the oil in the Middle East is going somewhere else, to Asia, and more specifically, China, India, Japan, and South Korea. because together, these 4 countries account for roughly 75% of all the oil moving through the strait. So when people say a disruption here will shock the global economy, they're not wrong, but they're also missing something very important. It's an asymmetric shock, and it doesn't hit everyone equally. Because for the United States, a disruption mostly just becomes a price problem, and that's because oil is globally priced. So if supply tightens anywhere, oil prices rise all over, which hurts, but it's at least manageable. But for Asia, it's different. Because it isn't just a price problem, it also becomes a supply problem, and those are very different things. Because higher prices slow you down, but losing access to your energy supply, well, that's when things can start to break. Where factories slow, energy gets rationed and production stalls. It's the same event, but with completely different consequences. And this is where the story shifts from crisis to positioning, because when supply tightens and prices rise, it creates winners and losers. And right now, the United States is on the winning side, because higher prices don't just hurt, it also generates revenue for producers, for exporters, and for energy companies. And the United States just happens to be the world's largest oil producer, which means the same shock that's creating global pain is also stimulating parts of the US economy.
Sneaky.
But oil is also only half the story, because there's a second layer that most people are completely overlooking: natural gas. Because the Middle East is also one of the largest exporters of liquefied natural gas in the world, and just like oil, a massive portion of it flows through the Strait of Hormuz. In fact, it's roughly 20% of the global supply of liquefied natural gas, and countries like Qatar and the United Arab Emirates send over 90% of their liquefied natural gas exports through the strait. So if the strait gets disrupted, it's not just the oil markets that tighten, it's gas markets too. And once again, this is where the United States shows up, because over the past decade, the United States has quietly become the largest exporter of liquefied natural gas in the world, which means the same dynamic repeats. One region loses supply and another steps in to sell it. And the markets are already beginning to react to this, which is why we're seeing energy companies rise and exporters benefit. Venture Global, one of the fastest growing LNG exporters, has seen its stock jump nearly 40% in the past month. And Cheniere Energy, the largest LNG exporter in the US, is up nearly 15%. And on the crude oil side, we're seeing the same thing. And that's because scarcity doesn't just create risk, it creates opportunity. And here's the thing, bottlenecks don't just exist in oil markets, they exist in technology too. Because right now we don't have a shortage of AI tools. We have the opposite problem, too many models and too many options.
Okay, that's most of what I wanted to watch. Yeah, US is kind of goated. Oh, here's the channel. It's called Casual Finance. Casual Finance. No, my Twitter's fine. Maybe not. No. What am I gonna do, chat? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'll tell you exactly what I'm gonna do. I want to give you my thesis. Okay. Before we conclude on war, I want to give a thesis as to what I think is gonna happen with the markets, or what I think is at least worth paying attention to. Okay, which is that. Yeah, it is actually down. All right, cool. We'll come back to Twitter in a little bit. So I posted this in the pit this morning, just because I figure, fuck it, I'll. Yeah. What? By the way, why is it always down? Like, what is happening with Twitter? It's like I feel like it's down every single day, because of some fucking slop garbage bullshit. Every day it's down. But all right, I posted this in the pit. And my basic take, I'm gonna just read it, like some parts of it, so I don't skip over a lot. But my basic take is that, like, okay, it's pretty clear Trump expected a significantly smoother road in Iran, and this war should have been over by now. Like, what it's hard for me to think that they just had a complete oversight on this, but killing the supreme leader did not start the uprising regime change he expected with some air support and funding local militia. Instead, it basically blew up in his face after realizing that the Strait of Hormuz cannot be opened without ground troops, right? Like, we know this, we covered this. We also know that ground troops is like a ridiculously slippery slope and probably ends in disaster, or at least many, many, many years, which I don't think anybody wants, right? And so I gave him some credit where I think, all things considered, Trump has actually done a sick job suppressing the oil price, regardless of how he did it and how many laws had to be broken and heads turned the other way to do this. All things considered, it has not really spiraled out of control, right? Like, we haven't seen a single oil price wick above what happened that first night. And objectively, the war has significantly escalated. And so, yes, I know it's up a lot, but I mean, all things considered here, we haven't seen a wick above that first day. Not even really. I think Brent 120 or whatever haven't gotten there, right? It just didn't happen. And so regardless of how we did it, I think he has done a good job suppressing oil price, especially if we get off now. And yeah, the market was shrugging off headlines that would have sent oil to, minus 80 just a few weeks ago. And so eventually we reached climax, right? Like a lot of these tacos would have dumped oil 50%. It feels like 3 weeks ago, and they're not. And so I feel like we're at that spot now, like I discussed, that Taco Supreme or jugular. And I actually understand the pro jugular take. Like a lot of people have this just go for it take, but it's just so messy. It's such a disaster, and how it actually ends is a mess. And so I talked about how I didn't account for Hormuz being forced to open if the US just pulls out, and maybe it is the case that Trump has more cards than we originally thought. But the one thing I have to add to this is like, okay, let's go with the option of Taco Supreme. He declares victory, and then Iran gets just bitched basically into open the strait by everybody else. We probably get 3 weeks. This video of you is insane. Come on, bro. I'm in the middle of a rant. Oh, okay. I'm good off that. We probably get like 3. Let's just like assume these things. Let's assume Iran gets forced to open it. Let's assume Trump goes Taco Supreme. And let's assume it happens relatively soon. We probably get what? 3 weeks of green, maybe a month. At least day one, an aggressive green candle day. But it's probably to be faded, right? And this is like what I wrote in the pit, is that it doesn't and will not fix the underlying issues that we still have of SaaS apocalypse, AI uncertainty, Citrini article, 2008 global intelligence crisis, PE ratios getting fucked, earnings reports getting fucked when earnings season happens, private credit and like whatever is going to happen there. Like it doesn't fix our actual problem. And if anything, it makes it worse from a time decay perspective, which is like, all right, Liberation Day is like we dip 20% or whatever, and then we're back and we V-shape recovery. This and where we're at right now with SPY and SPX is this like rounded, nasty, ugly top, right? And so like, let's say Trump ends the war right now and we get like this action, right? Like something like here. But the underlying problems of AI and all the reasons we were bearish in the first place don't go away. We just like, test it, whatever. Rate cuts now ruled out, rate hikes potential, and like you just like test new lows. Squiggle's awful. But what I'm trying to articulate here is this. Time. This is immensely more painful. Like this outcome is immensely more painful than like this. If we were to just go like, just fucking test it and then wick it back. This outcome is way worse because it takes forever. And so now that we've been paying more attention to like macro and stocks and situations outside of our little crypto bubble, I'm pretty like bearish, uncertain, right, about what happens after the green from a Trump Taco Supreme. And it doesn't solve the problems that we had in the everybody was bearish before this, right? The sharps were bearish before this. Maybe the war was written in the charts, maybe it wasn't, but it doesn't solve our problems. And so the one like silver lining, I guess you have, is that the AI labs have had like 2 months, a month and some change right now, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 at the most, of quiet time to build, basically. And the silver lining savior narrative is that in the last 2 months, Claude and OpenAI can ship some miracle monster that fires everybody up and fuels another leg. in like another infinite swap and increases capex capabilities and keeps us going. But without that, we're basically going to get out of war. Everybody's going to start buying stocks, buying crypto because we're no longer at war. And you're going to buy for like a week. And then you're going to think to yourself, wait, now what? And the now what I think is pretty grim, right? The now what is pretty, I think everybody longs for like a week and then says now what at the same time. And there's really no answer to it. And so I think it's a long-winded way of saying how I'm trading is going to continue to just be week-long mega church style. There was an opportunity today on Zcash. I might be late on it, but I'll talk about it shortly. Short-term trades. And buying stuff for the long time horizon is just so fucked right now. I really think this is going to happen. Everyone is going to collectively... Like, what do you think about what I'm saying? Everyone's going to be long because the war's over, and then we're going to say, now what? And I don't have a good answer to now what. We really don't have a good answer to now what. Everything is still kind of structurally fucked. And also, yeah, the bounce was weak. The crypto bounce was weak. And so that's my analysis on the market, where we're at, what it would mean if we got this Taco Supreme outcome from Trump. And it's not the most exciting. Like, you long when he declares war over, probably. You do. And don't be too early, but you slam it, I think. I think. You get the, like, ceasefire announced, you're in. But it doesn't change the fact that it's a fucking, like, it's a 12-hour trade, which is not, I don't like 12-hour trades. I'm not a 12-hour trader. I'm just not. So you get in, you slam when it's over, you get out after, and you do nothing after, and you probably do nothing in between. You do nothing. You do nothing in between. What are you doing right now? Jez called bottom on lighter, I think. What are you doing right now, really, in the market? You're playing mega church. That's it. Because everything else is like, everybody else is like, I'm watching, like, I don't like call people out because who am I? But I'm watching all these guys play DCA, prices look attractive here. And I'm like, according to what? I mean, prices look attractive. I mean, we're like in the middle of a war. It's one of these things that like, this is a spot, I think, I just think out loud now and it's fun because I feel like I get better pretty fast. It's one of these spots where you would sacrifice 15% on the upside for comfort in your longs. Like you would sacrifice upside for comfort because there's just still so much that could go against you, I think. And maybe that's just like pussy. There's always edge on uncertainty. Does 60K Bitcoin not look attractive? Of course it does. I mean, I'm still all in Bitcoin. I'm more so talking about entering stuff now and like the way people are talking about stocks. So anyways, let's move on. Before we get to quantum in my Zcash trade, which what looks good? Okay, before I move on, look to me right now in the eyes and tell me what looks good. Seriously, what does? And why? Give me a thesis. Somebody give me a thesis. A job. Yeah. If you have a job, hold on to it. By the way, whoever said I look nice right now, my skin looks good. Thanks, man. I got my shit right. You know what the alpha is, by the way? I had really bad skin like 3 months ago. And I was just washing it hella. I was washing my face too much. It's like, you think my ancestors were using like, were like killing a saber-toothed tiger, skinning it, eating it, and then washing their face with CeraVe cleanser? It's like, no, bro. They were taking the blood and smearing it on their face. Like, they weren't using CeraVe. They just weren't. Looking good, bro. My guy, Kyle. They just weren't, bro. Like, they were not doing that. They were, I don't know. They just weren't using Neutrogena cleanser on first time shot 2. They don't even know about the Kyle lore. He's going to come on stream one day. He doesn't know it either. That's our stretch bull. By the way, look at how gross this is. 34, 35 BTC. Dude, it is disgusting. It is disgusting. I cannot lie. The Sisyphus tweet is real, but it's disgusting. All right, let's talk some shit. How about that? Craziest story of the day. Pete Hegseth's broker looked to buy a defense fund before the Iran attack. Chat. Base 16Z wrote an article called Loot and Rob, I believe. I might be getting the R word wrong. I might be getting the R word wrong on that article, but it is happening in front of everybody's faces, in front of America, and I feel very strongly that you should put your mask on before you try to put anyone else's on. A broker for Pete Hegseth, the U.S. Defense Secretary, attempted to make a big investment in major defense companies in the weeks leading up to the U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran. Hegseth's broker at Morgan Stanley contacted BlackRock in February. By the way, we Israel, we U.S., whoever, whatever. U.S. and Israel attacked February 28th. Okay, it was Friday after market close. I remember because I was out. Okay, I was out with Flood, funny enough. And he shows me a trading view, and I said, what happened to Bitcoin? Hegseth's broker at Morgan Stanley contacted BlackRock in February about making a multi-million-dollar investment in the asset manager's Defense Industrials Active ETF. The inquiry on behalf of the high-profile potential client was flagged internally at BlackRock, according to people familiar with the matter. According to BlackRock, the $3.2 billion equity fund, which carries the ticker IDEF, pursues growth opportunities by investing in companies that may benefit from increased government spending on defense and security amid geopolitical fragmentation and economic competition. Its largest holdings, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop Grumman, which count the U.S. Department of Defense as their biggest customers, as well as the dual data integration specialist Palantir. Okay. And so Pete Hegseth, the guy who was like in charge of war, the Secretary of War in the United States, and contacts BlackRock basically and tries to get exposure to like the super levered defense ETF right before we're going to go to war. And so Pete Hegseth is so spectacularly stupid that he uses insider knowledge of a strike on Iran to attempt a multi-million-dollar trade that lost money. Okay? He knew we were going to strike Iran, and he lost money on the trade. Lost money. The guy who's probably clicking the red button on strike lost money. Look at this. Month. It's down 1%. Really good tweet by Jez. And Jesse Livermore speaks of this, actually, which is that I've never seen people lose more money than when they have insider information. Jesse Livermore speaks of this often. He calls them tips. And very often, people will make irrational decisions with tips that they would never make on their own 2 feet or on their own accord. And it causes huge losses. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy, right? Hegseth's broker tried to buy defense ETF holding Lockheed and Raytheon in February. Hegseth launched a war in March. Not true. February 28th. It only didn't go through because the fund wasn't on Morgan Stanley's platform yet. Nobody stopped it on ethics. Nobody flagged the conflict. It failed on a technicality. This is who is running the war. I mean, I have to say, like, I feel like we've been joning on Hegseth a lot. But, I mean, if you're Pete Hegseth and you know that we are about to strike Iran and start a war in the Middle East, and you cannot make money while actively trying to trade that insider information, how can you confidently be expected to win the war? I mean, making money on that, I made money on this. I've made money on this. Making money on this is significantly easier than taking out Iran. And if you can't do that, it has to dwindle your ability to actually win the conflict in the Middle East. It's pretty unreal. friend of, and so it brings me to this. LNR that I asked Andrew Yang about. A friend of mine, prominent Twitter figure, his name is Based16Z. He wrote this article called Loot and Rob. And I thought I was going to fuck it up, by the way. And the basic premise of this article is that America has reached this late stage empire capitalism where the only response left from the elite is to take as much as humanly possible, as quick as possible, and run. Spit it out! I think some examples of this are like, one, every company staying private until as long as humanly possible, extract every venture dollar, go public, SpaceX at 1.5 trillion, retail gets rinsed. Or, how much money was made, how many billionaires were created from just pure grift extraction events where retail gets rinsed, stocks are trading at zero. Or, Donald Trump Jr. buys a drone company 2 weeks before we strike Iran, or the president launches a meme coin and then launches a second meme. It's just like this premise that we're speed running the Soviet oligarch playbook, and nobody really has a reason to try and play correctly. Steal, take, and run for the hills. Is this I don't know, is this happening? Like, how do you feel about this?
Wow, I think this is like a very savvy observation, and I made the argument in my book, The War on Normal People. It's like we either come together and start spreading the wealth and the bounty. And this is as someone who's, serial entrepreneur, like founder, capitalist. And what I say is that AI plus capitalism is going to be no one's idea of a good time unless we start doing things differently. And I said, if we don't do this, then it's going to become every man for himself. And that's what your friend is describing. It's like, okay, at this point, like all bets are off. Let's just all get ours. And that is where you wind up if if you don't have any kind of coherence or cohesiveness.
Here's the honest truth, Rasmer, is that what would have been funny if you just took all the takes as your own. Rasmer says, there should be zero tolerance for this. He should get fired as soon as the war ends. I mean, he should probably get fired for how the war's played out, less than the insider trading thing. But the honest truth here is that, bro, the Trumps are doing it too. This is it being encouraged. This act is being encouraged within the government, right? I mean, dude, what's the date on this? Trump buys drone company. I mean, Trump's son's back new drone company targeting Pentagon sales. It's like 3 weeks ago. This is March 9th. I mean, we're about to have a drone war with Iran if we put boots on the ground, right? 3 weeks ago. Eric Don Jr. invested in military drone company amid Iran war. I mean, this is just happening. The business of war has always been lucrative, but when the people making money are tied directly to people making policy, it raises questions Americans should be asking. A new military drone company called Power Us, backed by investors including the president's sons, Donald and Eric, is planning a strange corporate move, merging with a Florida Gulf Coast holding company to create a publicly traded drone business. The deal will combine a defense technology firm with the company that owns golf courses in Orlando. And then you'll probably see Power Us get some massive defense contract from the U.S. and the stock will rip, and there will be the best investors of all time. I mean, this is the premise of the article, Loot and Rob, is that people are just going for it. It's like so I mean, Pete Hegseth, with all due respect, from the government name. What I read, didn't order the right tweet, but what I read is that the reason he had to file his name publicly and this got flagged is because he tried to buy some levered ETF that trades like 100K volume a day with multiple seven figures that Morgan Stanley or BlackRock or whomever couldn't offer yet, and it didn't exist. And he submitted a buy order on this thing, and they had to like send him through compliance or whatever. And then everyone internally is like, "What the fuck? Why is Pete Hegseth trying to buy this?" It's like so blatant. They're not even trying. I mean, he's not even trying. They're not even trying. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty. It is stone cold retarded, and it is pretty. It should make you mad. I think it should make you mad. It should make you mad, but I also think you should understand or recognize that it's happening and understand that the odds are stacked against you. And when you have an opportunity to take some fucking chips, you should take them. It's been going on for decades, bro. It didn't just start with Trump. They've all been involved in this shit. You know, I asked Yang about this, and he basically says, basically what he said is that, yes, it's always been happening, but Trump took it to the next level. That was his take. What do you got? Regulatory capture, Bill Gurley. Is it long? Dude, it's... All right, let me see. That's 20 minutes on YouTube. Maybe we'll watch it. I'll save it, and then we'll watch it a different day.
That was it. Highlight. I think we know.
Okay, at the All In podcast. And so, yeah, it's like, it happening is one thing. This is always my take on. This is probably a bad take, or it's gonna sound. I gotta figure out how to phrase this differently than I was about to. But I was gonna say, like, this is the problem with the Epstein files. So, a general problem is the unveiling of the curtain. Is the unveiling of the curtain for everybody to see in 4K heightens the, like, how bad some of these things are. I don't even know how I'm trying to say this, but it's like they've been insider trading forever, but the fact that it's public for everybody to see is bad. That's my take, okay? Fuck, man. Fuck. You happy? Are you happy? So that's Pete Hegseth. It's a disgrace. It's a complete disgrace. Also, yeah, it's like embarrassing to me as a trader. How are you so bad at it? We fucking made money on the war. Like trading things that moved on the war, and we had no info. It's like, how are you so bad at it? You know when we're gonna strike. It's like insulting. I'm like insulted as a trader, bro. It's like, yeah, it's like it's embarrassing, dude. It's like, this is the guy who's supposed to fucking win the, like, this is the guy you think is playing 4D chess. What's it called? IDEF. Get in the fucking pit, bro. Here it is. I mean, this is what you longed? How did you, this is what he fucking longed? Are you kidding me? This is a disgrace. This is it, yeah? IDEF. I mean, this is fucking a disgrace. How do you lose money? He's down money. Look. Huh. I wonder where there was some volume in this thing. No. Oh, he didn't get it through. Who is this? I mean, this is insulting. How do you lose? Imagine I told you that the U.S. is about to go to war in the Middle East. You have 24 hours to make whatever trade you want, and you lose money. It's like, bro. Disgusting, yeah. At least fucking, short Bitcoin. Do something. He could have longed the fucking 10-year and printed, dude. I could have even made that trade. If you were like, hey, threadguy, we're about to go to war with the Middle East. The only vehicle you have to express a trade is the 10-year, and you don't even know what a bond is, make money. I would have made money, bro. It's an insult. It is a genuine insult. So it is what it is. All right. All right, gentlemen. It is. Why isn't it up? Actually, though, to be fair, it's like a decent expression, right? Why isn't it up? I will give him that. Like, sounds like it should be up, right? It went up the first day. That was it. But there's weird stuff in here, right? There's like Palantir in here, which is like trades like SaaS, which is getting software, which is getting crushed. Like, there's like weird stuff in here. Anyways, let's move on. We have a very important topic that I don't know that much about, but we are going to learn about, which is quantum. Quantum. All right, here's the deal. I'm going to start by saying, while I don't know anything about quantum, neither does anybody else, so I'm qualified to share opinions on said topic. That was my overwhelming learning from today, is nobody has a fucking clue about quantum. So I'm going to just cover what I can cover, and I'm going to explain what I can, and then we're going to watch some videos from people smarter than me, and we'll try to get to the bottom of this. So Google published this paper called Safeguarding Cryptocurrency by Disclosing Quantum Vulnerabilities Responsible. So Joseph Threadguy, I wish I was this focused as a young man. Lucky I was early, so I didn't have to be smart. I'm the same way, brother. Just early. So here's the paper. Oh, it's actually short. I probably should have read it. Wow, I should have just read it. I stressed myself out all day about this. I should have just read it. Wow. Is this not it? I think this is it. Oh. 57 pages. Never mind. Anyways, they published this paper, and my super, oh, here it is. Oh my God. Look at this thing. Holy fuck. Be honest. Did anyone here read this? Let's go. Can I control F this? Yes, I can. Zcash is mentioned 38 times. Wow. Zcash is mentioned 38 times in this. Bitcoin 339. Pump fund 0. ETH 157. Tau, no way. Bitensor 0. Solana 16. XRP 14. Chill House 0. QRL 11. Doge 12. Wait, what noise? Pepe 0. Mog 0. Trump 0. Hegseth 0. Is my computer making noise? Anyways, here's my like completely so just no idea take of what happened is that Google came out and said that we have basically discovered a way to hyper speed up the acceleration of quantum computing's ability to crack cryptography. And I think the like 10% chance it can crack Bitcoin encryption by 2030 or 2040 or whatever, they have now pinned at 10% by 2029, which is kind of daunting. The reason that's kind of daunting is because there is 6.7 million Bitcoin sitting in addresses vulnerable to quantum attacks, according to this paper. And they basically said that the research we conducted is too dangerous to release to the public, and we are going to hide it behind zero knowledge proof, ZK proof, which is nuts, kind of nuts. And my basic understanding, and I'm trying to get Justin Drake on the stream, and I'm trying to get Nick Carter on the stream. So I am not the source of truth on quantum. I just can explain what I understand, which is almost none. My basic understanding is that most systems are not susceptible to quantum because it's pretty trivial for them to upgrade, right? Like, I think it's way harder to hack Ethereum because how quick the block times are, and also Ethereum's ability to upgrade and fork and upgrade. And Bitcoin is impossible to get anything done. I didn't even know, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know there was Bitcoin core developers until like 6 months ago. I genuinely didn't think there was core developers till 6 months ago. And nobody can get anything done in Bitcoin. And I think that there are solutions to like soft fork or soft upgrade BTC. But what do you do with Satoshi's 5%, almost 1 million coins, and all of these dead wallets? And what would it actually take to align on some sort of upgrade to get something done in Bitcoin is largely unclear. And Michael Saylor, who is now the number 2 holder behind Satoshi, right? How many, he's like 3% and some change, doesn't give a fuck, which puts us in a weird spot. Now, I saw this tweet from CZ maybe that like exchanges could blacklist the tokens, I don't know. I have a bunch of tweets, and then I have a Martin Shkreli quantum video, which we're going to just watch. And so let's go through them. Number 1, Luke Martin, shout out Venture Coinist. It's the only public comment Satoshi ever made about quantum computing risk to Bitcoin. Back in 2010, a user Llama asked what would happen if signatures were compromised due to quantum computers and whether it would make Bitcoin worthless. He says, true. If happened suddenly, but if it happens gradually, we can still transition to something stronger. When you run the upgraded software for the first time, it would re-sign all your money with the new stronger signature algorithm by creating a transaction, sending the money to yourself with the stronger sig. And so we do have time. And I made a bear post about Saylor saying working on anything but quantum, and everybody called me retarded in the comments. So maybe it is the case that there's things being worked on here. Greg, you ever watched a Joe Grand video? I don't think. So Google is basically saying we've cut the quantum resources needed to break Bitcoin's encryption by 20x. That's what they said. We can now break it. No, this they didn't say. We can now break it. We can prove it. That's not true. But they said that the speed up process is there. We're just not going to tell you how. We've slowed down research to give crypto a chance. You have until 2029 to figure out a solution. Good luck. This is a very sensationalized tweet, which is why it has 3 million views. But this is basically what happened. And so Hasib, this is wild. Google research demonstrates a 20x more efficient implementation of Shore's algorithm that could break the ECDSA keys within minutes with 500,000 physical qubits. So I don't know the difference between physical and digital. I really don't. Google is now more confident on a 2029 post-quantum transition. We're no longer looking at mid-2030s. We could have quantum computers of this scale by the end of the decade. They believe this result is so severe that they are not publishing the actual circuits. They instead publish a ZK proof, zero knowledge proof, proving that they know of the quantum circuit with these properties. This is very atypical, showing Google thinks this is serious shit. All blockchains need a transition plan ASAP. Post-quantum is no longer a drill. Look, it is kind of scary. And so we have this Justin Drake article. I'm trying to get this guy to come on the stream. If anybody knows him, actually, let me know. That'd be awesome. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but today is a monumentous day for quantum computing and cryptography. 2 breakthrough papers just landed. Both improve Shor's algorithm, infamous for cracking RSA and elliptic curve cryptography. The 2 results compound, optimizing separate layers of the quantum stack. The results, shocking. I expect a narrative shift and a further R&D boost towards post-quantum cryptography. And so they basically solved 2 things, independent of each other, and hyper sped up this process. And so what is true, what is not, how realistic is this? It seems largely unclear. But one of the only people that has an understanding of quantum computing is Martin Shkreli, which I know. Interesting times when he is the source of truth on a topic, or the voice of reason. But he did this podcast with Amit Investing, talking about why quantum stocks are a short, which I would like to watch actually right now. I think this is a good thing to watch. It's 30 minutes. I don't want to watch 30 minutes, but we could watch 10 and just get a couple takes, and then we can see like where we're at on the quantum thing. So you said sorry for hurting his feelings yet? No, I would like to. Martin, I would like to say sorry. I would. If you ever want to talk again, that would be a lot of fun, because I'd love to get him on stream. But let's watch it on 1.5x for a little bit and just see. Why do you love beef? I made a bad joke on its Twitter Spaces 3 years ago, and it didn't go over well. We were tight before that. I miss him. If anyone was there for the joke, don't repeat it, but I don't know. I thought it was funny. I'm not gonna repeat it. I'm not gonna repeat it. It was a bad joke. The Spaces was live, yeah. And recorded, I think. It wasn't good. All right, let's watch this.
But I was on a Twitter Spaces with you like 4 months ago, and we were talking about MicroStrategy, and it was pretty cool. We were just talking about your thoughts on Bitcoin. But I've been a fan for a while, and I'm happy you're joining the stream.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks. Nice to hook up with you.
All right, so a bunch of
Nice.
Well, how much time? What, 30 minutes? You got 30 minutes?
Whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Here we go. First of all, big fan of Goodell. I actually paid for it. So
Oh, thank you. Great.
yeah, I got into that $60 a month tier a while ago.
Now I have to be nice to you.
I have to be nice and good. I have your Bloomberg competitor right here.
I can't say anything nasty at this point. You're a customer, so I work for you.
There we go. Okay, so my audience has really been interested in your thoughts in a variety of different areas: Palantir, Nvidia, Bitcoin, quantum. So I think we can take those one by one. But I think we'll start off with the elephant in the room. Everyone has been wondering why you are short quantum and how quantum is going up 4 or 5x. Is it just retail hype, momentum, or do you,
I'm gonna get up, but
the guy who's done pretty well for himself in life in terms of managing money, not understand the quantum thesis? So I'll just lay it out there. Are you right, or are the shorts gonna get burned on quantum?
Yeah. So I mean, I think this is going to be one of the biggest trades in my career. I think that and my career is not, as you know, it's not in trading. My career is in being an entrepreneur. I built drug companies. I'm building a software company now. So it's not really one of these things where I, have wanted to, or I'm going to, be a hedge fund manager. I've never really wanted to do that. And, nevertheless, I find myself compelled because this is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. There really hasn't been anything like this. I don't know if ever is the right term, but it's really a remarkable thing that's going on in the market, and it's wrapping a lot of people who are new to the market into it. And I think it's there's something like this happens every few years. We had the cannabis rally, we had NFTs, we had 3D printing, there's a lot of little mini bubbles, but this one's pretty preposterous. I mean, 3D printing could have been a thing, cannabis could have been a thing, and you just have to sort of wait and see. And then when all the cannabis companies reported earnings, they were really bad, gross margins were negative. You can't build a business on negative gross margins, and you sort of watch and kind of like decide that, okay, this is a cool and exciting idea, but the business just isn't there. Quantum is sort of like that. There's just no possible way that these companies could be successful. My girlfriend,
there's no way they could be successful.
No way. Yeah. So my girlfriend's where a lot of people are experts, and we talk to all the same experts everyone else does, all the big names in the field. The big names in the field are telling you that it's not possible. Scott Aronson, again, my girlfriend worked with him at MIT and at OpenAI. And in essence, Scott just doesn't believe that quantum's coming anytime soon. But worse than that, there's 4 quantum stocks: Rigetti, D-Wave, IonQ, and Quantum Computing Inc.
Correct.
2 of those are frauds. So IonQ and Rigetti are actually trying to build a quantum computer. Now, I think that's 30 years away. Even if you do build it, there's nothing there. But D-Wave and Quantum Computing Inc., in my opinion, and I know other people disagree. They are complete scams. So D-Wave has been around 20 years. They made 6 generations of their computers. They've never worked. You can't find a customer who says they work. You can't find a customer who actually uses the machines in production, in software we call production, live setting, the real deal. Not just, trying it out, see if this thing could work someday, but actually no, this is a part of our business.
Right.
No, not a single one that I'm aware of. And again, if the company could show one, I challenge them to do so. But,
Wow.
So I'm shorting these stocks. QCI was a beverage company. They're under investigation by the SEC. Not that I love the SEC, but, I think that, this is a company that basically didn't exist before. They had $30,000 of revenue last quarter.
So is there a scenario in which all these quantum stocks are scams, but quantum computing is real and someone like Google builds it? Is that an outcome here?
30,000. Your stream and my stream do more than that. And I think that, for this to be a $2 billion publicly traded company that has a quantum is just silly. Again,
why? In your professional opinion, how did we get to 2 billion off 30,000 in revenue?
Liquidity. So it's liquidity. I love your stream, your viewers. I love my viewers. Not all of our viewers are the
Skrelly, dude, come fuck with the pit, bro. Come on.
sharpest tools in the shed. There are a few amongst us who are not great at investing. You're excited. You want to buy the next NVIDIA. So do I. But you have to look through thousands of stocks to find the one gem. And that's not what people do. People are lazy. They don't want to do that. They want to read Reddit. They want to watch a YouTube. They see one thing that sounds exciting. Oh, that sounds like the future. I'm going to buy that. And, that's typically what happens. NFTs were the same way. Cannabis was the same way. How could you deny the sexiness of cannabis? You got a 100-year-old tobacco industry in the US, $100 billion companies, and now you have weed. Oh my God, this is going to be huge. Well, it turns out the business fundamentals just weren't that good. And the Tilrays went down 95%, Aurora Cannabis down 95%, et cetera. And the reality just hits you sometimes. And we all want to buy growth stocks. We all want to buy exciting stocks.
Probably
that could be the future. But you also have to do your homework. And the CEO of IonQ, former CEO and founder, had this very esoteric podcast, a physics podcast.
I saw you tweeting about it yesterday.
Yeah, 629 nanometer. It's like the nerdiest thing you can imagine. But this is where you find alpha. And he went on there and he said that quantum computing is not going to be around for another 30 years. And there's no application. We don't know what they're good for. Literally. And
30 years is what Skrelly says.
Even the NSA. So the one thing I can see in quantum is that they would be extremely good for hacking and encryption breaking. And this is like a hobby of mine on the side, specifically with Bitcoin. And so I've played with quantum computers. I've bought every single commercial quantum computer. I'm a major user of their cloud time. Spent thousands of dollars of my own money on quantum computing. And I can tell you these machines don't work. They can't factor even the number like 1 million, which a child could factor with pen and paper. Right. These quantum computers can't do that. And it doesn't look like, oh, we're just around the corner, we're going to get a breakthrough. In fact, if anything, it looks like we may be at a logjam. Now, technology does progress. And sometimes you get these discontinuous jumps where it's like, oh, wow, okay, it didn't work before. And all of a sudden, boom, it works, kind of like AI. But the problem is, what are we going for? What is it that we're going to do when the magic machine shows up? And nobody can answer this question. And factoring numbers is fun. I like doing it. But the only thing it's good for is encryption. We've already had post-quantum encryption. In fact, the guy, whose name is Chris Monroe,
so the only thing he can do is crack Bitcoin. That's it.
He's an idol of mine.
Yep.
He's probably going to win the Nobel Prize. Chris said that even the NSA doesn't want a quantum computer, which shocked me, actually. That's way more bearish than I ever was. He said that they just want to know when quantum computers are coming so they can prepare for it. And I thought that was fascinating. Because a lot of people think the NSA has a quantum computer or they're really interested in it, but that impression from the founder of IonQ was really surprising to me. I wouldn't have characterized it that way. And again, he's sort of explaining that even the big companies like Google and IBM don't have quantum computers that will work. He thinks they're wasting their money.
So I want to talk about Google and IBM, but here's a question: if you were the biggest quantum bull on the planet, what is the use case that you are the most excited about because of quantum?
I think it's these people are confused. They don't understand what these computers can or can't do. So if you think about computing in general, NVIDIA is the biggest computing company.
Right.
And XAI, OpenAI, these are the companies that buy these machines and they want to train models and run inference. These are hard to do computationally. Right. Quantum could never do those. It can't do those. Why? There's no memory. There's no RAM. There's no way to load the data into the machine. The machine has 100 qubits. You can store your name in 100 qubits, maybe, but you can't store the corpus of the internet at 100 qubits. It doesn't do that. I think there's this confusion that these are normal computers. You can, I just watched this interview with John Preskill. Preskill is one of the fathers of quantum computing. He worked with Richard Feynman at Caltech.
He's me right now, by the way. I would be looking like this. I'd be like, I do this.
invented quantum computers, the idea of them at least,
Right.
Preskill said, the interview said, Preskill, can this make me post on Instagram faster? And this is not what these machines do. These are scientific machines. And the only people really interested in them are scientists. You know,
So if you had to come up with a use case that is uber bullish, what would it be?
I mean, there is this idea that you could, and listen, I have a vivid imagination. You know, I can try to come up with one.
After this question, we're off.
And the best I could give you maybe would be simulating physics. So like a really good physics engine. But this gets back to a really interesting point that Jensen Huang said. He said, he had the 10 quantum CEOs up on the stage, and he said, we don't need a better solution to the traveling salesman problem. So anybody who knows computing in the house knows this is the NP-hard problem that traditional computers struggle with. You cannot, if I give you 70 cities to, or 70 blocks of a city where you have to drop off, mail at all 70 blocks, what is the optimal route? That's a really hard question. Combinatorially, it kind of explodes on you. It's like 2 to the 70th power or something crazy like that. But what's funny is that a regular old computer, a stupid ass laptop, can do this equation close enough. It gets like a 99% approximate of the perfect answer. And in fact, quantum computers, it's proven that they don't have a complexity speed up for
who's Chad Walk
for traveling salesmen. They probably could do it faster, but the point is, shaving a millionth of a second to get the optimal mathematical answer. This is something scientists are interested in. This isn't something Uber is interested in, or they would be investing. FedEx would be investing.
Okay, so it basically can't do anything except hack Bitcoin. What are the 4 names he mentioned? DNAP? Do you do the tickers? Do you have them? What are they? Oh, fuck. Wrong button. IO and Q. Ugh. Jeez. IO and Q. QBTS. Qubits is a sick name. Ugh. RGTI. Rigetti. Ugh. And what's the last one? Booty Watcher, you had this shit at $1? What's the last one? What's the last one? What's the last one? What's the last one? Someone's gonna destroy Bitcoin just to save this chart. What's the Joe Grand video called? I hacked time. Ugh. It's 25 minutes. I can't do it. I'm surprised. Oh, QU. I'm surprised they didn't pump on this Google News, or maybe they did. That would make me think if this was a real crazy breakthrough, there would be like a real move. Yeah, 10%. 10%. I mean, like they kind of did. 11%. Yeah, they did. And why are we bidding these again? I'll tell the Zcash thesis in like a minute. It's pretty dog shit. Why are we bidding these? Oh, what's good, Kyle? Let's see what he got. Why puts on crypto instead of going long a quantum ETF? That quantum companies, given that quantum companies are like microcaps, their upside seems asymmetric to Bitcoin's downside. And the more of the papers that quantum is closer to being useful in a number of ways. Breaking crypto is just one. Pretty good take, actually. Well, the quantum companies are mostly scams, especially the public ones. You can long Google or other hyperscaler labs for this, but it's not really isolating the bet. No Kyle reply. Kyle, what's the reply to the reply? Which take is terrible? Kyle's or based? Kyle's is terrible. Interesting. They make 0 rev, but isn't
from the
yeah, okay, they make 0 rev, but isn't the whole thesis that they're gonna build some super god computer, and so it's like a 0 or a 1, whereas making rev is like okay, let's watch this. Fine.
practicality perspective, theory, yes, it's good to have an accumulated paper with all of the information you need to design the systems. There is no practical implementation yet, and we don't see how it will exist in the next few years, decades. There are 3 estimates at the moment. Quantum startups say 10, 15 years. Academic cryptographers say 25, 45 years. And skeptical physicists might say never, or possibly much longer. Google has a toy quantum computer. They can play with small number of qubits, but the claims there are assuming some hardware that doesn't exist today, and we don't see how it will exist. 100x to 1000x from what we have today.
Unbelievable.
This is what we have. I mean, we're so much behind, right? Imagine if you are a startup in this space, you will go on Twitter and you will say, oh, Google managed to break Bitcoin in 9 minutes. Even this 9 minutes. What is this 9 minutes, Ran? It means that there is.
I actually like this take. What is the quantum ETF? Is there? Defines quantum QTUM. Let's see, how much is that up? %5. What else? VanEck Quantum Computing, QNTM. Sick name. Ooh, what the fuck is this? Why does it look retarded? MA's quantum comp to save his GF. No. Whose Twitter was I just about to? Oh, Shkreli. Martin Shkreli. He's just talking about peptides. Wow, we'll debate any peptide retards here. He didn't even tweet about it. The BPC tards the dumbest people on the internet right now, and I shouldn't be surprised. Why did he not tweet? Did Frank get dunked on? I wanted to listen to it, but I didn't get to hear it. Why did I not tweet about quantum? Is a little bit weird, no? Okay, I'm about to give you my Zcash thesis of why I clicked it, but I feel like a retard now because I feel like I should probably be long quantum on that. All right, regardless, I clicked a little nibble on Zek, a little baby nibble at 249, and then I added a little bit at like 256. It's basically flat, and I'm out like below this little stack, 242. I think there was a sick trade to be made that somebody actually made, and I loved it. It was like such a mega church trade. It was such a fun one. Where is he? Let me see. Hold on. Here. He tweets. So this Chris GRX guy, right after quantum thing drops. I wasn't really paying attention last night. Mega church, it's like attention trade only. It's basic since the article. First one that popped in my head for seeing Trumpless quantum news today is long golden ETH. Haven't thought about it for more than 1 minute, but that was my first intuition. He replies, how about this? Zcash at 232. Article had already dropped. Nick Carter post, everything. And this thing was like about to go giga viral. And he posted this at 232. And the reason is Zcash is mentioned like 300 times in the paper, and its whole thing is like quantum resistant Bitcoin. That's like the whole thesis. And he binks it and says, fairly inefficient market provided hours to buy the obvious play. Quotes it again at like 257. pumped 10%, but like it didn't really do much. And so, okay, I took a nibble at Zcash for 2 reasons. 3 reasons. 1, I was pissed I was fucking late because this is my trade. This is like my fucking trade. I love this shit. And I just like wasn't paying attention last night. I don't know. I was just like flirting. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I was doing some other dumb shit that lost me money because that was free. I mean, that one was free. I was doing some dumb shit that stopped me from making money. So I'm frustrated by that, but it is what it is. That was free, but it's only up like 10%. Okay. And the reason I think it's interesting is it's up 10%. But everything is up on Taco News. And so you sort of get like a dual wielding narrative, which is like, feels like there's a non-zero chance Trump hits the Taco Supreme this week, like in the next couple days, and which we're going to get a fucking ripper. Zcash, clearly the fastest horse for crypto. Now, is that like a false positive? Unclear, but at least right now it's saying clearly the fastest horse. And then at the same time, you're getting it combined with this like quantum resistant narrative where everyone's like kind of freaking out about this. Nobody actually understands quantum except for like Shkreli, I guess. So everyone is just like scared. Some Bitcoin longs are probably a little bit scared, even though this is a multi-year problem. I'm trading on, an hour time horizon. But you kind of got the dual wielding narratives. And yeah, it does contradict my take of we're ripping longs on the full Taco Supreme, but don't be too early. I'm obviously too early. And so if it goes against me at all, I'm just going to be out and not lose much money. I'm very willing to add on the upside on this one. Very willing to add in the 260s, 275s, 280s sort of range. Like if you look at this chart, it's like this thing is so battered. Like, I'll happily buy more of this coin at 300, I'll happily buy more on the way up. But I sort of just took a nibble here on the dual wielding. I'm so upset that I didn't trade. I didn't insta-click it when I saw the quantum thing. Because our only trades this month could have been oil. Let's pretend like all my other oil disasters didn't happen. The first oil trade, the Tau long, which was totally just an attention. Jason Calacanis will fucking fall on the sword for us. Binked that. And then a Zcash binker on quantum Bitcoin FUD would have been so smooth. But I didn't do it because I don't know. I'm retarded. I'm retarded. I don't know why exactly I didn't. I just didn't. But it's so, I don't know. That's my favorite type of trade. It's just strictly attention. So I saw the funniest tweet, which is like somebody was replying to Crypto Ethan and said, can you please articulate to me why Zcash is a long on quantum FUD and what it actually does to be quantum resistant? And he replies, and it's my favorite tweet today, something along the lines of, I have no fucking idea. Everybody just says it does. Bang. That's it. It doesn't matter. Everybody just says it does, so it doesn't fucking matter. Why? How is Tau an AI project? I don't know. Jason Calacanis says it is, so it's a fucking AI project. That's it. I don't know. Boom. Done. Oh, next. Doesn't matter. It's like Mert and Balaji and Naval say it is, so it is. Period. End of story. Case closed. That's it. And then they're going to scream, and they're going to say, no, you can't just trade on attention. Fuck you. Yes, we can. I made money. PeteXF didn't. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay? I made money. PeteXF didn't. Yes, you can. That's it. Yes, you can. End of story. Case closed. Argue with the fucking wall. Okay? All that matters is that people say it is. And so then someone replies and says, oh, well, what about in 2 to 3 years with the Google quantum? He said, buddy, I'm going to be out of this trade in a day. I'm going to be out of the trade in a day, is what he said. Don't you feel like a chud trading that? I feel like I'm going to be honest. When I bink one of these attention trades, I feel like a genius, bro. I do, because it strips away my emotional. I historically have been a community member. Okay, the most money I ever lost in my life on a single trade is $1 million on the Solana blockchain buying Goatsius Maximus. Okay, I did 2 things that I no longer do. Okay, 2 things that I no longer do. Okay, number 1 was buying increased size on the way down. Okay, I don't do that anymore, except when it's Bitcoin. I don't do it anymore. I'm like, the way I've been trading my last couple binkers is like, take a nibble and then add aggressively on the way up. I'm going Jesse Livermore. That's what I did with Tau. That's what I did with oil, and that's how I've been making money recently. I'm adding aggressively on the way up, tight stops, especially when it's low conviction. We're at war, getting whipsawed both directions. I'm buying on the way up, and I did the opposite. But the real kicker, the reason I lost $1 million fucking dollars in like 3 months, is convincing myself this shit was going to change the world, man. Yeah, that's why. That has been the single reason that I have lost money in large amounts, is convincing myself that this thing that I hold is going to change the world late stage. And I've gotten kind of stoic about it. And I've just been trading charts and trading narrative attention recently, and it's been going really well. I've been enjoying it too. So no, I don't feel like a chud. I don't feel like a chud when my P&L is green, honestly. I don't feel like a chud when my P&L is green. I don't. And so it's like if I think Zcash is some revolutionary technology, but I'm in for a specific reason on a short time horizon and the trade is going against me, why am I going to drive myself fucking mad when I can just re-enter it later? If I knew how to do that in GOAT, then I wouldn't have done it. There's obviously edge cases against this, but I guess the fourth thing is I started defining my time horizon on like why I'm entering this trade, right? It's like, why am I entering? If I'm entering purely on attention and some news-based event that just happened, then I understand it's a very short thing. I'm really trading the chart, trading momentum. But if I'm like, this thing is undervalued, I love the thesis, I'm buying for fundamentals, and the market is wrong, then yeah, I'm fucking willing to. I mean, that was when I bought Pump for the first time. The market's just wrong about this. I'll sit in this for months if I have to. Did it with Pump. First time I did Zcash as well. I think the market's just wrong about this. I'll sit in it for months. But I think just defining like why I'm buying this thing has been. I didn't used to do that. You should just buy it and I would like figure out why I'm in it. And then cool, awesome, you're gonna get cooked. So low conviction. I don't have that much size in it. Like I'm only gonna get size in any of this stuff is if it goes up significantly on these attention trades. I'm only gonna get size in if it starts going up. And so if it doesn't, then I'm not really worried. And I'm not losing money. Why would you buy an asset with no motion, Arthur Hayes? If you were heavy in Bitcoin, why are you not also long MSTR? I'm surprised you aren't drinking this Kool-Aid more. I'm kind of like a Bitcoin purist, bro, on the BTC side. I'm pretty just like anti-DATs. Like, why would I buy MSTR? I just like painted this picture to myself in 2025 that there's going to be somebody out there that is super bullish ETH, and instead of buying buying Ether, they go all in on ETHZilla, who capitulates, is a forced seller at the low, spends all their funds on buying private jet engines, and gets marked down to 0, and then ETH goes to 10K, and you feel retarded and gay and poor. And I'm just not. It's like leverage Bitcoin. It's like, okay, I'm already. I mean, how much more leverage can you get? You know, it's like, okay, I make an extra 10% on 15% on BTC going, tits up. It's like, it's not worth it to me. I don't fault you for it, but it's not worth it to me. There's no real reason why I think I would do it. Anyways, Warren Buffett did a podcast, first one in I don't know since when. I've never really listened to Warren Buffett speak before. And I want to watch some clips. Oh, wait. Trump. Oh, this fucking guy. Here we go with this bullshit though. We'll be leaving Iran maybe within 2 weeks, maybe 3. Thinks when U.S. leaves Strait is opened up. Here he goes with this bullshit, man. Oil down on that is surprising. Why? That feels surprising to me. People getting mad at this is crazy, by the way. Let's see. Tremendous number of ships sailing through Hormuz. Let's put this side by side. We'll leave Iran very soon. I really want to get this guy on the stream, by the way. I think when U.S. leaves trade is cleared up, negotiating with Iran right now. Within 2 weeks, maybe 3. Stock prices will up today. All I have to do is leave Iran. Is he live? Yeah, okay, let's go.
Ballistic glass, and we have that. Other buildings don't. You know, fairly modern buildings don't have that. They have roofs that are weak, and they have regular glass windows.
There was this incident
down in
Windows right now,
now?
though, where apparently a whole swarm of drones for a couple hours was over the flight line. There's a lot of really important planes down there.
Yeah.
How concerned are you that this is some
Well, I'm
some
not
other
concerned.
country just
Yeah.
scoping out?
Yeah,
where
I
we
know
have all
about
our
it.
stuff?
They've checked that out, and they've gotten to the bottom of it. You know, you have a lot of people now that fly these things all over the place, and we're coming down very hard on them. But we're able to take them out militarily. We're able to take them out very easily. And a new thing is lasers. You know, the lasers are becoming very, very.
Every time I listen to him, it makes me want to go full
You keep
cash.
it going
I
and
feel
it
you, brother.
melts in air. It's a beautiful thing to see. If it's coming at you, having a laser is a very nice thing. But we have, there are methods of defending against drones. I mean, the advantage from the standpoint of defense is they don't go very fast relative to a F-22, that plane right over there. They go very slow. They can be also shot out of the air by, you know, high quality aircraft, which we have more than anybody ever had.
And there was a viral video this week. I don't know if you saw it, of Army helicopters hovering near Kid Rock's house in Nashville. Did you see that
I
video?
didn't see it, no, but I'm sure they had a good time.
Well, so the Army just said the crews of these helicopters have been suspended. What do you think of that?
Well, it depends. Are they? Well, they probably shouldn't have been doing it. Yes, you're not supposed to be playing games, right? But I'd take a look at it. They like Kid Rock. I like Kid Rock. Maybe they were trying to defend him. I don't know.
Does Iran have to make a deal? Does Iran have to make a deal for the U.S. to end its operation in Iran? And
No,
have you spoken?
no.
And have
Iran
you
doesn't
spoken
have to-
directly with
Iran
anyone
doesn't
in
have
Iran?
to make a deal. No. Yeah, I've spoken to a lot of people. It's a new regime. They are much more accessible. They are right. You know, they said we have a president for respect.
I know,
And they
but
said,
yeah,
wait a
but
minute,
would
you
you-
want
the
me to
fuck?
answer the question? You're a fresh person. You know, we've had a lot of problems with you, haven't we? No, they don't. You asked me a question. No, they don't have to make a deal with me. They don't have to make a deal with me. When we feel that they are, for a long period of time, put into the Stone Ages, and they won't be able to come up with a nuclear weapon, then we'll leave. Whether we have a deal or not, it's irrelevant. Now, it's possible that we'll have a deal because they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal more than I want to make a deal. But in a fairly short period of time, we'll be finished. They will not be able to do a nuclear weapon.
What did you
for
just say to
years.
her?
And when they are ready, maybe in a long time from now, able to do a nuclear weapon, you'll have a president that will be like me in that he will go there and he'll knock the hell out of them again because they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Candle
They
the
are
shit, bro.
Very radicalized people. They're very sick leaderships. And I will say, though, that the leadership we're dealing with now, the new regime, because we have a new regime, and the new regime is much better than the
Candle
past.
it.
Mr. President, the Iranian government threatened a bunch of U.S. companies today in the region, including Google, Apple.
With what? What did they threaten them with? PB guns? Or?
Well, that's a
They
good
don't have much
question.
left to threaten.
My question for you is:
I
is
don't
the
know.
U.S.
I mean,
talking
what
to
did
those
they?
companies?
You made a set. What did they threaten them with? I don't know. Tell me, how did they threaten them?
Well, all I know is that they threatened them, sir.
What does that mean?
Fair enough.
He said something
Do
nasty.
Is the government in touch with these companies? Are you helping to backstop them?
You don't even know what the threat was. What was the threat? I haven't heard it. What was the threat?
I'll get back
Did
to
they
it.
say they're going to blow them up? They're going to hit them.
Is
They're
that
not.
Iran's
You know what they're not
ICC?
going to do? They're not going to hit them with a nuclear weapon.
Is it something you're concerned about?
No.
Iran's IRGC issues a warning that they will target 18 U.S. technology companies if the U.S. continues targeted assassinations of Iranian leaders beginning on April 1st. Those companies included
really?
NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft.
Most of those
Google.
people are dead already. Yeah, Peter?
I got one. Your son Eric posted a photo of what will be the Trump Presidential Library. It's a huge skyscraper. Is that all a library? What else is
Dude, are
going
you
in?
fucking kidding me? Give me a
It's
fucking
museum,
break.
a
Who
library,
is that?
it's presidential, but I wouldn't start it till I'm out of office. I don't believe in building libraries or museums. It's really like
What a
the
dog
Barack
shit
Hussein
question.
Obama
You
one in
fucking
Chicago. In not a good location.
Bro, at
and
fucking
it's a
war!
Very unattractive building that's seriously late and seriously over budget. I think you're going to see a great one here, and it'll go up on time, on budget, best location in Miami. They say it's the best block in Miami, and the state
Will
worked
people live
with us.
there? Will people live in the floors?
No, it's going to be most likely a hotel. You know, this concept could be office, but it's most likely going to be a hotel with a beautiful building underneath and a 747 Air Force One in the lobby, which is going to be a trick.
And the Supreme Court tomorrow is going to hear arguments about your executive order trying to get rid of birthright citizenship.
And I'm going.
You're going to go to the Supreme Court
Think so.
tomorrow.
I do
and
believe
just sit there and listen.
Because I have listened to this argument for so long, and this is not about Chinese billionaires or billionaires from other countries who all of a sudden have 75 children or 59 children in one case or 10 children becoming American citizens. This was about slaves. And if you take a look, we're talking about slaves from the Civil War. And if you take a look
Who has
at when
59
it was
children?
filed, all of this legislation, all of this, everything having to do with birthright citizenship, it was at the end of the Civil War. The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves and the protection of the babies of slaves. It didn't have to do with the protection of multi-millionaires and billionaires wanting to have their children get an American citizenship. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's been so badly handled by legal people over the years. If you look at the original birthright citizenship papers, they all happened right after the Civil War. The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves. And hopefully it's going to say, because our country is being scammed. We're getting all of these people. They're selling the rights to them. People are making a living, a big living.
All right.
Getting
I mean, I'm here
hundreds
to
of thousands
talk
and
about
even
like
millions
we
of
gotta
dollars
skip,
from
huh?
bringing people in and saying, congratulations, your whole family is going to
it's
be a
time.
citizen of the United States of America. That's not what it was for. It wasn't for
Next
billionaires
slide.
bringing people in or family in. It was for the children of slaves. And what you really have to do, and I don't think the lawyers talk about it as much, look at when the Civil War ended and look at the date of when this was enacted. Okay.
Have you ever been to the Supreme Court before? Is this going to be the first time going to the Supreme
No,
Court?
I went once before. The opening of the Supreme Court in the last administration.
And which justices will you be listening to?
Who are these people asking
I love a
questions?
few of them. I don't like some others. And you know, you say what you want, but you have the ones that were appointed by Barack Hussein Obama and Biden. I don't care how good your case is. You could have the greatest case ever. They're going to rule against you. They always do. And it's not supposed to be that way. Now, the Republicans tend to be very different. They want to show how honorable they are. So a man can appoint them and they can rule against him. It's so proud of it. We're so proud we ruled against Trump. We're so proud. We're above it. There are those that say that's wonderful, and there are those that say they're so stupid. But the Democrats never fail at one thing. When Barack Hussein Obama or when Biden appoints somebody, they go along that line. You can have the greatest case in history. And almost, I guess I have to say almost, maybe I don't have to say it, almost without fail, those people, 4 of them, sometimes 5 of them, but 4 of them will vote against you. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. And that's not what the court system is. Now, the Republican appointees tend to go, and this has been long before me. This has been for many years. Some people would call it stupidity. Some people would call it disloyal. Some people would say they're right in doing it. And I don't mind being right, but the other side almost never does it. Almost. I think you could find maybe a couple of instances. Almost never.
He's a generational rage
When
baiter.
a Democrat appoints a judge, and I'm talking about judges, not just justices. You go before some of these Democrat judges in Washington, D.C., and you don't have a chance. That's why I gave pardons to hundreds of people who were badly treated.
My little trade is
having
probably
to do
validated
with
here. I'm too early. The shit's
Jason's-
fucking war is not over, bro. They're not done.
Oh.
Not done. Misread, I guess.
Let's go. I didn't see you over there. You've been so nice. Here we go. Now she's gonna hit me with a bad one. Go ahead.
I'm a Save America Act, Mr. President. Do you still think it's going to pass? Were you
I don't know.
signed?
It's the craziest thing. The Democrats are totally against it. Again, they're unified. I think maybe you would have.
I mean, I don't know. I came on stream today and felt like vibe shift on Trump admin desperate to get the war over, and they're just not. It felt like it was. I don't know. It felt like it fucking was this morning. I guess not. You know, couple more weeks. You know what's been really sharp on this is fucking poly market traders. Haven't wavered. This is down a good amount, actually. That's high 79%. It's down to 66. Forces enter by December. Ceasefire April 15th. It's down to 13%. It's up to 2319-ish. He just keeps weeks. All right, something cool happened in AI land today, which is Claude Code. So if you're like me, just woke up, let me catch you up on the Claude Code leak. Someone inside Anthropic got switched to adaptive reasoning mode. Their Claude Code switched to Sonnet, committed the .map file of Claude Code, effectively leaking the entire Claude Code source. So this guy saw it, cloned the repo, woke up to 25K GitHub stars, his girlfriend begging to take it down. She's a copyright lawyer, which is crazy. Their team decided, how about we have agents rewrite this in Python? Surely this is more legal. Rewrite it in Python, board a plane to South Korea. One of the guys decides Python is slow, is now rewriting all of Claude Code into Rust. Anthropic cannot take this down and cannot sue. Is this fair use? TLDR are about to have open source Claude Code in Rust. And so the source code of Claude Code was basically made public, like how this thing works. It's kind of a crazy announcement. So yeah, Claude Code source code has been leaked via a map file in their NPM registry. And so, okay, here's a post. It's kind of long, but let's just like scroll it. What to prepare for, because there's a lot of stuff in here about like what they were going to announce. Here's the guy, fried rice. Let's see. Insta follow. Early day fried rice discovered Anthropic accidentally published a source map file alongside their Claude Code CLI and NPM. Here's what's coming. 1, autonomous agents. The most referenced feature flag in the code base is called Kairos, appearing 154 times. Based on the code, this appears to be an autonomous daemon mode that turns Claude Code into an always-on agent. It includes background sessions, something called Dream Memory Consolidation, GitHub webhook subscriptions, push notifications, and channel-based communication. This is OpenClaw, no? Like exactly OpenClaw. There's also proactive mode, which lets Claude work independently between user messages. The system sends tick prompts to keep the agents alive, and Claude decides what to do on each wake-up. The prompt literally says you are running autonomously and instructs the model to look for useful work and act on your best judgment rather than asking for confirmation. So they're rebuilding Claude Code, or OpenClaw. Coordinator mode transforms Claude into an orchestrator that spawns and manages parallel worker agents. The coordinator handles research, implementation, and verification by delegating to specialized workers. System prompt includes detailed instructions on how to write prompts for workers, when to continue for spawn fresh agents, and how to handle worker failures. Permission prompts may disappear. It appears to be on an auto mode that uses AI classifier to auto-approve tool permissions. If this ships, the constant permission prompts, the like yes and, that keeps interrupt workflows could become optimal or disappear entirely for trusted operations. Model condemns and versioning. The source reveals internal code names for Claude Code models. Capybara appears to be 4.6 variant. Comments reference V8 with notes about specific issues being fixed. Fennec was a code name that got migrated to Opus 4.6. Numbat is unreleased. One comment reads, remove this section when we launched Numbat. The code also references Opus 4.7 and Sonnet 4.8 as examples of version numbers that should never appear in public commits, suggesting these versions exist entirely. So, as expected, they... bro, can you guys ban this guy, please? Lock in. As expected, they have better internal versions on employees than what we have. Makes sense. Undercover mode for stealth contributions. There's a feature called undercover mode designed for when Anthropic employees use Claude Code to contribute to public repositories. When active, it strips all AI attribution from commits, hides model code names, removes any mention of Claude Code or AI, and doesn't even tell the model what model it is. The prompt includes you are operating undercover in a public open source repository. There's no force off switch. If the system isn't confident it's in an internal Anthropic repo, undercover mode stays on by default. Voice mode, a Tamagotchi pet system. And then some other notable flags. But here's what it means. It's getting significantly more autonomous. It's going to work more independently, potentially running as a background that monitors repos and takes action. Permission frictions being addressed to make it easier to skip through things. Model versioning is getting more complex. Security is being taken seriously. So basically, one, they have internal models in Anthropic that are way better than what we have. Two, they're going after OpenClaw, I guess, obviously, to make this like your fucking, all-in-one AI assistant that is actually capable of doing stuff. And three, the fact that this thing was able to leak is insane. I mean, this is a technology that's being used in war, right? I mean, this is the Department of War is using this. We used it in Iran. We used it in Venezuela. This is being used for war. And it was cracked open pretty easily by just some guy and published the entire thing open source, which is, yeah, I mean, that is a fucking security risk, right? It's like if they wanted it open source, it would be open source. It's a risk in the AI race. It's a risk in China. It's a risk in all of this. So it's a pretty, in my opinion, big deal fuck up for Anthropic. Yeah, it's a pretty big fuck up. It's crazy. And, maybe it makes you feel like you should believe Dario when he says, we're not ready for war. Claude is not ready for war. And the Department of War is like, yes, you are. And Dario's like, no, we're not. And Anthropic's like, Dario, and PDX said, it's like, yes, you are. And Dario's like, no, we're not. And yeah, it's fucking crazy. But I do think that when this OpenClaw-esque, they're calling it Kairos, when this thing is live, if it is what it feels like it is, a OpenClaw vamp, but with parameters and protection and guardrails in place, it is going to make AI significantly more useful for the general public. Just is. Significantly more useful for the general public. They didn't leak Claude code, just the code that interacts with the models. I mean, they leaked the source code, right? Like how this thing works. I don't know much about code, but that's how I understood it. Pretty big deal. Here's where we're sort of leaving on what happened to my oil thing. Here it is. Here's how we're leaving on oil and where we're at. Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, we're still sort of at the mercy of topically on war. It's just gonna continue to be a daily thing, I think, for multiple more weeks. And some people may be sick of talking about it. We have to talk about it because it's directly impacts the trades and decisions we make in the market. It just does. It does. It's hard to do any long-term thesis building and positioning until this thing is decided one way or another. It just is. It just is. It's just the reality that we're living in right now. It just is. Yeah, Trump will be leaving Iran very soon. It'll be done in 2 weeks, maybe 3. Gas will be down as soon as you leave. As you can see, stock prices were up today. Are you heavily invested in Google? No, not at all. Also, on Bitcoin, I will just say to everyone that's like, oh, threadguy, you retarded from quantum. Regardless of how quantum proof they make Bitcoin, there's no easy way around managing the Satoshi lost coins, is there? No, there is not. And that is scary because it's a lot of fucking coins, gentlemen. It's a lot of fucking coins. Also, OpenAI officially closed their latest funding round of 122 billion committed capital at a post-money valuation of 852 billion. Remember, not that long ago, people were buying this little portfolio. Was it VCX with exposure to Anthropic and OpenAI? I think 20% of it is Anthropic, 10% is OpenAI. And it looks like this now. Look at this fucking chart. 777% off the bottom. And then straight line down minus 80%. Unreal. Crime or stupidity? Probably both. I would say both. Part of the reason it was able to pump so high is that investors were locked. Nobody could sell. And they just like low float pumped this thing to an unreal amount. Also, why are people getting ban removes? Is there some back end deal here being done with the mods? What's going on? What exactly is going on here? Some backhanded deals happening. So that's where we're at. Tomorrow I would like to talk about. We'll do the Warren Buffett interview tomorrow, and I want to learn about the VIX tomorrow, bro. Does anyone here trade the VIX? Honestly, I want to start trading the VIX. I feel like it's so fun. KNG? No way. You come for the Thicky chat? My friend traded VIX for 1 mil P&L. Can you even trade the VIX? I don't even know. You don't trade the VIX? You don't trade it? My grandpa trades the VIX. What up, Pipe Bomb? Don't trade it. Good luck with the VIX. Why? Why? I'm only trading the VIX. Do I sound retarded right now? You can trade it. Is there anyone on Twitter who's like full bid as I just trade the VIX? Is that like a thing? Like I'm a VIX trader? Like is there like a... I think you long bonds if you trade volatility. Yes, vol traders. It's kind of sick. Trading the VIX. Wait, let's watch this. 14 years ago.
My guest today is Michael Cohen. We're talking about the VIX, and most traders, newer traders, think you can probably trade the VIX outright, but that's not necessarily the case. Michael's going to talk about how you can actually trade somewhat similar to the VIX. So, Mike, how do you trade the VIX in essence? I know you can't trade the instrument itself, but what are you supposed to do?
Well, I think a lot of people make the mistake of they look at the news, they hear people talk about VIX, and they assume that's a tradable instrument. And sometimes the way people talk about it, it makes it sound as if it is. The VIX is 15. I'd like to buy the VIX at 15, that kind of thing. But actually, the VIX that everybody talks about is something we call spot VIX. It's really just a calculation. It's based on an interpolated strip of options prices in the S&P. One way to think about it, though, is it is the implied volatility, or the relative premium, you might think of it, for a 30-day put in the S&P. So if you're ever trying to say, okay, well, what does that represent? It's the implied volatility of a 30-day 30 delta put is probably the one option that comes closest to it. There are other ways to trade it, of course. You could trade VIX futures. You could trade options on those futures. I don't typically recommend that for hedging purposes, though, because there are a lot of dynamics in there that people don't recognize. For example, the VIX futures curve is upward sloping. There's something called contango, which means you have to pay an ever higher price every single time. So if you roll your futures, you always have to pay that spread. There's another thing, too, which is if you buy long-dated futures or options on longer-dated futures, those futures tend not to move as much as the spot VIX does. So when you see the VIX spike to 45 and you own a 6-month VIX future and you say, how come one went up 30 points and mine only went up 5 points? Why is that? Well, that has to do with the dynamics of what VIX really represents, 30-day forward starting variance. We don't need to get into the math of what that means, but trust me, probably the best way to think about hedging is to stay away from the VIX for most people.
All right, now another generality I hear a lot from traders is when the
I'm not most people.
VIX is low, I'm a buyer of calls and puts, and when the VIX is high, I'm a seller. Is that necessarily true as well?
No, it isn't necessarily true, although it can be one way to think about things, right? So when the VIX is exceptionally high, there's a couple things about the marketplace that are often true. For one thing, it usually happens after the market has dropped precipitously. Probably everybody recognizes that. The initiation of the credit crisis, what happened to the spot VIX calculation? It went through the roof. What had happened to equity prices? They had declined significantly. Here's one way to think about that. Do you go out and start buying insurance after the house is already on fire? Probably not a really good idea. One, it's expensive, and two, what they're insuring isn't worth much. The same thing is true here. You don't want to raise...
Interesting. Maybe we will, I don't know. Seems fun, though. It fucking moves a lot. I didn't even know what it was. Crude over 100 again. Ugh, God. I'm just going to be here for fucking ever. Fuck my life. What's Brent after I close like a little fucking pussy? That's below my entry by a lot. My exit. Dick and balls pattern breakout, though. Big breakout in dick and balls here. Let me just draw like a little cleaner. Usually like get around here. And then this is usually like red. Then this is usually like red in here. But then when you see a breakout of this level at the top, it's pretty bullish breakout here. And so the breakout usually looks something like this. As we see right here. The ticket. All right. Sorry. Trader may be like, oh my God. TA guys every morning. Breaking. threadguy reveals Brent oil has broken out of a 4-hour dick and balls pattern. threadguy reveals Brent has broken out of a high confidence dick and balls setup. BENNPEI. Who is this? Oh, I don't really like this guy. This guy kind of tilts me, bro. Why is this guy good? He tilts me, bro. Fine. I do follow him. Brent breaks out of a dick and balls pattern, says streamer threadguy. PP poo poo unavailable for comment. Chris. God damn. I follow all these guys. I just follow the best, bro. That's what I do. KSI. Chris Sedile. Nice. Your X Games unmatched. Thank you, bro. That's what I live for. I'm not gonna stream. Hey, this was a fun one. Tomorrow we have some more stuff. I will probably do less war, but you know, is what it is. We have Shift on Monday and Macro GCR coming out very soon. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm out. When tax stream, I probably do it on Friday. I'm fucking miserable though. They're killing me in the tax books, bro. They are fucking killing me in the tax books. Maybe we'll do it on Friday. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. 3:30 p.m. EST every single day. Any first time shoutouts before I leave? Any first time shoutouts before I leave? Any first time shoutouts before I leave? Nope. Whatever. Hey! Rare Fangs, my guy. I love you. I appreciate y'all. It's 70 degrees outside. Get outside. I love y'all. Peace.